keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the greatest we have ever seen.
Call yourself a world champion, prove that you're the ultimate.
A brand new must-see championship.
There can only be one Ultimate Champion.
What on earth is going on in
And
Budapest?
the whole world is watching.
See you in Budapest.
Don't miss it.
Just like that, a star is born.
Ain't nobody gonna keep us down, keep us down.
The world awaits the first ever Ultimate Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the greatest we have ever seen.
Call yourself a world champion, prove that you're the ultimate.
A brand new must-see championship.
There can only be one Ultimate Champion.
What on earth is going on in
And
Budapest?
the whole world is watching.
See you in Budapest.
Don't miss it.
Just like that, a star is born.
Ain't nobody gonna keep us down, keep us down.
The world awaits
We
the
know
first
how
ever
to
Ultimate
fly.
Championship.
Let's go, baby!
And a home crowd roaring them on.
The world's best athletes brought together to settle the debate once and for all.
The Ultimate Championship, there's no room for mistakes.
To be Ultimate Champion, that sounds pretty good to me.
This is the greatest we have ever seen. It is a truly beautiful afternoon, and welcome to Tshwane, the Pilgrimage Stadium, and the Super Sports Simbine Classic World Athletics Continental Silver meeting. It is all set for 3 hours of the most spectacular track and field action right here in the heart of Tshwane on a beautiful afternoon. The weather 26 degrees, you couldn't ask for better. A gentle breeze out of the west, 9 kilometers an hour, and the grandstands perhaps shielding those on the 100-meter sprint, so that'll be to their favor. Big stand is well populated by athletics fans from far and wide. And athletes have come from far and wide as well to join the action here at the invitation of Akani Simbine, a South African sporting icon. And the man has brought together some of the very best in the business to show their brilliance here on this track. And that's the warm-up. They're doing what they need to get to the start in peak condition. Mospori Whitehead sits alongside me. Mospori, this is a day to savor, isn't it?
It really is, given the quality that Akani Simbine has been able to amass for this momentous occasion. And we just saw drifting past on the warm-up track Andre de Grasse 2021 Olympic champion over 200 meters. In the javelin, we have the reigning Olympic champion, Sarah Kolak. There she is down there. We saw the national record held by Sunette Viljoen, who is, of course, a medalist over the javelin, bronze medalist back in 2016. She inspired the generation of current South African javelin throwers, and there they are, many of them. So only Johanne du Plessis, formerly Van Dijk, is missing from this very, very good quality javelin throw competition. The first up being Cara Lowe here, who will look to test herself against the best in the world. So the heave goes out strong. Well, not exactly what she would have wanted. Doesn't get the javelin to pitch.
Well, it's something that Akani Simbine has spoken about, is to give those athletes who are still making their way into the sport an opportunity to compete on the same field as some of the very, very best. And that's exactly what young Cara Lowe from the Pretoria University, tucks down the road here, is doing today, because she's up against the national champions of Great Britain, former national champion of South Africa, the Hungarian former national champion, and of course the former Olympic champion for 2016, Sarah Kolak. She was fourth in Paris, and that's the opportunity these youngsters are getting here to watch and learn and to feel what it's like.
Just 19 years old is Cara Lowe. Next up is Michaela Buerta. That's much better. Gets it out towards that 40-meter mark. It's 41 meters and change was Cara Lowe's. That's not going to be much better, but it's just the opening throw. Shandi Mulder, I beg your pardon. And she is next in the order. And this one, this particular one, the Simbine Stillwater Women's Javelin, shows that each of the events have their own sponsor. And this one, perhaps sponsored by a company known better for its road running support, and good to see them involved in track and field. So Shandi Mulder, first out to 40 meters. They'll want to get over that 50-meter mark, and Northwest University always has some really good throwers.
Yeah, Lisa Victor and Martelise Barnard. This is Martelise Barnard from Northwest University, the sort of spiritual home of javelin in this part of the world, in southern Africa. Barnard on her way. And just over 40 meters for her as well.
Well, it tends to be the range for the younger female javelin throwers. We mentioned Cara Lowe of Turks, just 19, so many of them still in the early years of university, one or two teenagers, a few in their early 20s. And it is a discipline that takes some time. And if you look at the development, for example, of Johanne van Dijk, now du Plessis, she muscled out quite a bit, worked a lot on her gym work, was always a good thrower. But as she got close to that Olympic year in Paris, where she picked up the medal, she worked on the other aspects of her throwing. Now Victor. Lisa Victor. Oh, looks like it could be the best throw we've seen yet, somewhere around about close to 42 meters.
Yeah, she seems to be fairly pleased with that. A pat on the back from her teammate Martelise Barnard. 6 young South Africans throwing early here, and then the international athletes will take to the javelin. Jana van Schalkwyk among them, of course, the South African champion herself, and an African silver medalist as well. Smell tells you that she's pretty pleased with that. 41.79. He's a Victor.
Well, that's where they're getting out. So a lot of them will be flirting with 42, 43. Perhaps one or two hoping to throw a 45-meter personal best. And one or two celebrities and actors I see in there. Dubisho Masha is, for those who are slightly older, perhaps remember, the famous Isidingo. Dingo was there, and good to see some of South Africa's top entertainers also coming to enjoy a spot of track and field.
Well, again, you know, we'll speak a lot about him today, Akani Simbine, but he has transformed the sport in many ways, taking it beyond the track. Freya Jones, the national champion of Great Britain. That is nudging towards 46, 47 for Freya Jones, who has a personal best of 10 meters beyond that. Just early stages of the Javelin.
An essential part of hosting a World Athletics Continental Tour Silver Label event is the facilities that you're able to provide. Now, Freya Jones was at the Tuks University track yesterday, just doing a little bit of her warm-up, and so you need world-class facilities, and she was there taking advantage of that, where many athletes were before today's competition.
46.35 for her. This is Jana van Schalkwyk, South Africa's top athlete in this competition. Oh, just overstepping.
Yeah, just needs to get the run-up spot on. Overstepped by quite some way and didn't look to slip, but hope she hasn't done herself a nasty one. That when you brace that lead leg, the Javelin is not too much unlike race walking in the assault that it does on the human biomechanics. Not unlike fast bowling and cricket, Javelin. You have to brace that front foot and the knee wants to bend. That's what the body says. And when you brace it and throw over, those are the parents of our young discus throwers from Alicia Kuno's parents. And they're here to watch. So hopefully she hasn't hurt her knee there, van Schalkwyk.
Annabella Bogdan from Hungary. Large contingent of Hungarian athletes out here. And she's their javelin thrower, 61.09 at best. It's short of that, but clearing 50 though. The best of what we've seen thus far.
First throw beyond 50 meters. And this is kind of where we need to start going. I wonder what Sarah Kolak will be able to do, the Olympic champion. Now, remember that many of these athletes, some of them, like the Hungarians and Croatians, only touched down yesterday, others the day before, which makes a difference. And the rest that you get before a big event is also an important part of it. So, Annabella Bogdan, our first thrower beyond that 50-meter mark. And she will clap as we watch Sarah Kolak now. And she gets it out. Looks like a pretty handy throw. In the end, it isn't, given its trajectory. And she'll take some time to heat up, but the Javelin in particular, all you need is one big throw.
Yeah, and it's so technical, isn't it? Getting all the biomechanics and everything working in the same at the same time, in the same rhythm. And as I said, the force exerted on that front brace leg and knee and ankle is just huge, and it's all got to fall into place perfectly for it to deliver. That was very close, just short of 40 meters for Rita Bischoff. Michaela Boyd, I beg your pardon. Bischoff was slated to take part, the heptathlete, but it's not entering. This is Cara Lowe.
Now Lowe was just around the 40-meter mark with her opening throw. 42 meters. Can she go further? Oh no, that's not the one. Didn't catch that one at all. And looks like it may have stopped just short of 40 meters. And the throwing arm, as we continue our discussion on biomechanics, there, she just did it for you. So that's what she's trying to do. She didn't look like that on the throw. It must go all the way back, drop the lead shoulder, and the arm goes straight across. And that's the motion that she's practicing there. She practices it again, but once you have the javelin in your arm, it's also the speed of the arm back and through the motion. And so it's not uncommon for javelin throwers to have shoulder issues. As we watch now, Shandy Mulder. Oh, out of bounds. But it will be encouraging.
Tell you what, Mosabodi, we mentioned the weather earlier, and the breeze was light, and then a quick glance up to the palm trees that encircle this venue a little while ago. The wind was really up quite a lot harder than it was virtually at the start of today's program. So they are dealing with gusting winds, and the stand doesn't protect them from their right shoulder as they're throwing here. So it's going to be tricky.
Barnett. That's better. And now start to warm up. It does often take 2 or 3 throws. It's rare that the first one is the biggest one for the throwers. It's usually around about the 3rd or 4th throw that can win a competition.
Yeah. Just to outline a little bit more of today's program, and we've got a couple of field events, not many. This is very much a track meeting, as one would expect, with Akani Simbini's name behind it. The women's javelin and the men's long jump are the 2 focus field events, and thereafter 800, a couple of hundreds, the 3,000 men's 3,000 meters, and then the 100 hurdles, shot put, beg your pardon, we do have the shot put, and 2 300s, men and women's rarely run 300 meetings. And as Victor goes over 50, that is very, very good. Vast improvement.
Definitely. And we saw a smile after her first throw, which suggested that even though it didn't get beyond 42 meters, she liked what she saw. And that promise of the first throw delivered in the second throw, which goes over 50 meters.
51.29.
And 51.29. That's very good.
Yeah, she'll be delighted with that. Very, very nice. And that smile is broader and broader now for Lisa Victor. Now, as we're seeing, the antes being up for sure. This is Freya Jones from Great Britain. Just over 50, on the 50 mark. Not happy yet, Jones. Over 55-meter thrower at best. Still a little concerned as Sabodi's saying these athletes are off the plane. I mean, it's what they do as professional athletes. They fly around the world, they compete, but coming down south, the southern hemisphere, long haul flights, and at very different conditions. Takes a while to settle. Some find it easy, others a little bit longer.
Sequence moving in the right direction for Freya Jones, just closing her eyes to visualize the throw, and she will know that she has some more throws to deploy a big throw.
Of those events coming up today, a real variety for all lovers of track and field. 800s, 100s, and 3,000 meters for men, 110 hurdles for the women, and the shot put men. Some high quality shot put athletes involved in that one at 20 to 5 local time. There's 2 300 meters, and then thrilling relays. Of course, the World Relays coming up this weekend in Gaborone, and 1,500, and then the 2 big events, the men's and women's 100 finals.
Interesting to see how many of the relay athletes end up in those 100 finals, and perhaps for some that already know their roster quite well, their lineup for the relays, like a Canadian team, they might try different combinations and let a De Grasse, for example, focus on his 100-meter race to come. Long jump for men. This one is going to be a good one.
Yeah, this will be very good. We've got 12 athletes here, and athletes from all around the world: France, New Zealand, Croatia, Botswana, United States, India, and Namibia. So one of the best long jump fields we've seen in South African soil for a long, long time here. Really, really high quality here. Most of them are 8-meter plus throw jumpers for sure. And in Luva Manyonga, we've got a former world champion. We've got Sri Shankar Murali, who is the best in this field this year. The Indian athlete, an 5-time national champion at 8:15 this year already. Manyonga's gone over 8 meters as well a couple of times this year. So I think we're in for some very, very classy long jumping right in front of the grandstand in the shade here.
And the long jumpers know how to turn it on. I had a chat to Luvo Manyonga during the lunch break between the pre and main programs. He's promising something special. So this is our second jumper here, Valre Olivier. South African by birth, but competing out of New Zealand now, New Zealander. And there is that history with the triple jump in particular.
Yeah, but he's taken to the long jump this year, hasn't he? And he's starting to make it work for him. Valre Olivier, a 7.88 jumper. He's one of the few in this field who hasn't yet been over 8. I say yet because you feel that with his pedigree in the triple jump, and of course his brother and his father, of course, one of great triple jumpers of South African history.
Right, the first jump, often a test of how well you've been able to mark out your run-up and your run-throughs. Olivier picking up speed on the runway, into the air, gets the red flag though. Yeah, so that first jump generally tends to be an opportunity to readjust slightly. And he'll look up there to his team, who will tell him perhaps half a step earlier or later.
All right, the second of the athletes, Maïdis Corolio from France, who was the first to jump. And now it will be Regan April from Northwest University here in South Africa.
So April looking to break into the upper echelons of South African long jumping alongside the likes of Manyonga, Manuel and Javelin van Vieren. He'll need to get close to that 8-meter mark, or at least a 7.8 or 7.9 can often be enough to end up in the top 3 of the competition, as they fix the plasticine. Plasticine still being used in this part of the world, and some in a lot of meets now transitioning towards that electronic foul point. So Regan April looking to make an impression on international competition. Oh, the crowd like it.
Yeah, clean jump. So get an idea of where he is. His yeah, if he can get close to 785, 790, he'll be delighted, because that's round about his personal best. He in a competitive field, he was 9th at the national championships. Javelin van Vieren is the one absentee here, isn't he, of the South African athletes. Multiple South African champion, and April ought to be putting pressure on him here.
So looking now to hear the outcome of that jump as he chats to the coach. It's become the hallmark of the field events, athletes chatting to their coaches between attempts. Now here we go. Gets up nice and high. And just quickens that step before takeoff. This is Nikitemba Hani, a man originally from the Eastern Cape, and was one of the few Nelson Mandela Bay University athletes to compete favorably against the dominance from upcountry. There was a time when all the likes of Khotso Mokoena, Zak Visser and others were all based in Johannesburg or Pretoria. This man has offered a little bit of competition from the southern part of the country. This, of course, before the arrival of Ruswal Samai. Still competitive. Nikitemba Hani as the 800-meter men come out.
Well, you got to feel for the field athletes, because when the track athletes, the big stars, come onto the track, the attention does change focus a little bit. But they're on right under, Nikitemba's right under the noses of those in the grandstand, and he's going to jump now. Missed this year of 7:57 at the South African Championships down in Stellenbosch. Nice and high with a kick. Legal jump.
Looks to be short of 8 meters though, by a little bit. And at his very best, he does threaten that 8-meter mark, does Nikitemba Hani.
Yeah, for sure. He's an 8:35 personal best, so that was back in 2024, which isn't too long ago. So he'll be looking to get back into that sort of shape, to shake things up in South African long jumping. And my word, we've had some greats over the last decade or so. We'll be seeing a few more coming up in this competition. Likes of Ivan Manuel, who's exerting pressure on Luvo Manyonga, who's making his comeback as a world-class long jumper.
Chat to Luvo though, and that's what makes him such a loved figure. Never short of some advice for the Olympic silver medalist going back to Rio, and remember his exploits at the World Championships in London in 2017. Luvo Manyonga been through a difficult time, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and has came back to win the national title. As we watch Sarel Bosso, another young man looking to make an impression in the long jump pit. Bosso using all of his height. That won't be enough to get out close to the lead. Looks to be just around the 7-meter mark.
Big man, isn't he, Sarel Boschov? Young man, what an opportunity here to test himself and compete alongside some of the best in South Africa and a few from around the world. And chance just to catch up with his coach now and get a few pointers. Only so much you can do, really, I suppose.
Just 19 years old is Sarel Bosso, turning 20 in a couple of months' time. So this is a fabulous opportunity to improve on that personal best 7.59. He's got the speed as well. It's an 11.0 man over 100 meters, and that can be an essential part of long jumping. Not all of them are very quick over 100, but you need that runway speed. In the old days, many of the long jumpers were pretty good 100-meter athletes as well. I think the best exponent of that being Carl Lewis.
Marko Ceko from Croatia, first to get the crowd going. Third of our international athletes is on the runway now. Big man from Croatia. Not huge elevation. So Ceko, an 8.04 at best some 6 years ago. Triple national champion of Croatia. These athletes very different to the South Africans, who are in the middle of their season of national championships just a week ago, and it really is heart of the season here. The Europeans coming out to the Southern Hemisphere, particularly the field athletes, really are at the dawn of their seasons here.
So that mark run at London 2012 by David Rudisha remains the gold standard of distance running around the world. 1:49, and he made it look so easy.
In an Olympic final. Quite astonishing.
Took it out from the bell to the tape. Who will be brave enough to do that? Well, there are one or two South African youngsters, Werner Gous in particular, the national under-20 champion. Will he have the guts to run hard against the likes of Nicholas Kiplangat and Abel Kipsang, with Edmund du Plessis, the national champion who qualified for those Paris Olympics in 2024, looking to find his best form again on the comeback trail after a long injury layoff. That's the quality.
It is a quality field. There's a couple of sub-143 runners in this field. Aaron Keme and Ferguson Rotic. So that's the sort of quality. A couple of others at 143. Giles Elliott from the United Kingdom ran a 143.63 in 2021. 145 this year for the four-time national champion from the United Kingdom. So it is a high-quality field, this assembled here. No Kibet. This is Rotic. He is the man to look out for here. 145.74, the Kipkano meeting last week. What a chance for South Africa's Renier de Villiers. And this man, Christopher Swart. 147.31 personal season best this season. The tall figure of Nicholas Kiplangat, a 143.54 from Kenya, and Werner Gous will start on the inside there. What a race we've got on our hands here. Wonderful mix of athletes, some of the very best in the world.
On your marks.
Tension.
And this will be a test, especially for the young nerves. Ferguson Rotic, an old hand, World Championships bronze medalist, Olympic silver medalist.
On your marks.
He will know this well.
The second time. We know the gun's working.
Now we know it's working. And there was a great moment of a split second of suspense when some thought, should I start running? And Renier de Villiers took half a step, the big tall figure.
On your marks.
Back in their starting blocks.
Oh, it's misfired again. This is very unfortunate. The first track
Let's start again.
race of the program.
Well, they won't be able to go. Didn't hold them for long enough in the start position, and it looks like the gun is just as nervous as some of the athletes that are out there, because either it's firing too early or too late. At least Ferguson Rotic can smile, and that speaks of his experience, but it is a very nervous look on the face of Edmund du Plessis on his outside. Christopher Swart in there, a man who's run at the World Cross Country Championships at the highest level. Abel Kipsang out wide on the outside. Glances at the official, and now they must get it right.
They do get it right, and away they go in the men's 800 meters at the Supersport Simbine Classic Continental Tour Silver meeting. It's a quality field here with 5 Kenyans in this field, as well as a Dane in Dion Elson. We haven't mentioned him, a 146 runner, but here they go with Rotic, the class act in this field, the fastest man in the field, the Kenyan, and he goes storming to the front.
Looks like it could turn out to be a time trial. Expected a little bit of competition from Abel Kipsang, a man who is 1500 meters, a sub 330, but perhaps will come a little bit later. They cannot let this man go out this hard, this early, and expect to catch him in the second half of the race. This is a 142.54, man. Let's watch the time at the bell. Ferguson Rotic rings it 50 on the dot. It's not that fast. They need to start chasing, because he'll have enough left in his tank to convert this victory.
Giles Elliott is the man who's set off behind him here. They are starting to make inroads into the lead of Rotic now. He went out strong, and that is Giles Giles, beg your pardon, and De Villiers just on the inside. They start to bunch up, and now the surge with 200 to go.
So clearly in there for pacemaking was Ferguson Rotic. He stepped outside and let the little man pass on the inside. Let's watch the clock now. It's going to be fast. He's accelerating into the finish line, and Kibet is looking good. He's being chased down by Giles on the inside. Good run as well from Christopher Swart, who's fighting for a medal position, but no doubt about who's going to win here. How fast will it be? Kibet stops the clock. 1:44.91. Looks like that could be the finish time. 1:44.91, and it's a composed run by a man who knew exactly what he was doing. Noah Kibet wins it here at the Simbine Classic.
Timed it perfectly. The pace was indeed set by Ferguson Rotic, and away went Kibet. Giles chased him, but hadn't the pace over the back end to bring him home. And a very, very good run indeed by Noah Kibet. 1:44.91. Well, we wait and see as we have another look at them go. The third time of asking. And there was the pace being set.
Yeah, Ferguson Rotic was clearly a pace setter. Thought he might have been in to complete the race as it was. This is after the first 200. He set a pretty good pace for about a 1:43 late, 1:44 early, but they weren't interested in the pace. Renier De Villiers, a man who ran 1:45 as an 18-year-old, at the beginning was interested in the pace. Well, in the end, Kibet was the only athlete that decided to go hard with 200 to go, and eventually crossed the finish line in 1:45.86 unofficially, although it looked like the clock had stopped in 1:44.91. Either way, good victory by the man who looked very composed.
So first track medal of the day goes the way of the Kenyan Noah Kibet. Not too many distance events on today's program. 1,500 and a 3,000 to come, and as I say, 3 field events, the javelin and the long jump, as well as the shot put for men, javelin for women and long jump for men happening at the moment. There are top 3, Swart picking up third place, Giles second, and our winner is Noah Kibet. So from the 800 we move to the first of the sprint events today, and this is something to savor. The first of 2 heats in the women's 100 meters, and 2 very, very packed fields here. That is the heat number 1 field, and there's some very, very high quality runners here. Maya McCoy from the United States there, and well, she'll be going in the second heat, of course. Leah Bertrand and Kyla White in this heat are key. South African champion Javelin is in there, and someone who knows exactly what it's like to race in this type of atmosphere. Melissa Conley sits alongside me.
It's good to see the 100-meter woman lining up while getting ready to bring the heat on the track. Here is their runway, and I'm excited to see what they're going to produce. We have Leah Bertrand lining up from Trinidad and Tobago, fantastic athlete. She's got a PB of 10.92 seconds, and her season's best at the moment of 11.07, not too far off that 10.92. That's early in the season for them as well. The conditions are favorable.
Yeah, I want to talk about those conditions, because you're the sprinter, you're the one who would be lining up there and getting a feel of it. Would these be ideal conditions for you?
Yeah, this is definitely ideal conditions as we see them walking out there. Those are the superstars. That's the female sprinters that's going to take on a 100-meter dash very soon. Favorable conditions. We can see not a lot of wind. If there is a bit of wind, it is, diagonally, so it's going across the track. So the athletes are going to really capitalize on it. Probably more from the back. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, so the athletes wouldn't have had to have a crazy lineup. And on screen we see the Trinidad and Tobago athlete. She's definitely the favorite for this race. I caught up with her yesterday as she was doing her shakedown, you know, getting ready, her race preparation. So she says she's ready to run in Africa. She's excited to be in Africa. She was asking me to teach her dance. She says she got 2 left feet, but she says she's bringing the heat today on the track. She's not alone though. On her outside is Kayla White, also a phenomenal athlete from the USA. She's an NCAA indoor champion in the 200 meters, so she runs a fantastic 200 meter. She's also a 4x100 meter gold World Athletics medalist from Tokyo, so phenomenal athlete here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're going to see. A lot of these athletes are going to be in Southern Africa for the World Relays taking place this weekend in Botswana. And a lot of these will be relay specialists, just using this meeting, obviously, to fine-tune their conditioning ahead of that, but also ahead of the season. So what a chance here for young Sarah Reed, a 17-year-old from South Africa, in lane 1.
Yeah, no, this is a massive platform for Sarah Reed. We saw her running in the pre-program, and sure, you know, she's from KwaZulu-Natal, a phenomenal athlete. She's ran a very good national championships, getting a medal over there. But lining up against these athletes is going to be, you know, a big task for Sarah Reed. But also, these are the platforms that we want to give our athletes. We want to expose them to lining up against the greats that come from every corner of the globe, and we want to give them that international experience.
Shante Klingscale from the United States at 11:34 in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, earlier this year. And this is Leah Bertrand from Trinidad and Tobago, 3-time national champion from a nation that pride themselves in producing world-class sprinters. That takes some doing.
Also still very young, that Leah Bertrand, 23 years of age, you know, running a phenomenal 10.92, so she still has a very good few years ahead of her in her track and field career. But alongside her, Gabby Murray, she's been struggling with a bit of niggles here and there, trying to, you know, just keep the body healthy for the European season, as more importantly for the relays coming up. But she is the bronze medalist from the national championships.
She's in lane number 2. Then in lane 3, it's Shante Klingscale, personal best of 11:26 for the athlete from the United States. And alongside her will be Leah Bertrand from Trinidad and Tobago in lane 4. 10.92, one of only 2 to have gone under 11 in this field. The other is alongside her, Kayla White, 10.84. 10.24, 11.24 over the weekend in Botswana just a couple of days ago. And there'll be a big ovation for Javelin, South African champion. Lovely to hear. Outside her, another young South African, Shanae Wansbury. Italy in lane 8 is Gloria Hooper, 2-time Italian national champion, and gold in the World Relays with the Italian team as well.
The crowd is eating up these international athletes as well as our national athletes, and it's good to see that the energy is so high.
Who are you picking?
I'm going to have to go with Kayla White. She won the 200 meters in Gaborone, and she knows how to win on the African continent. But on the inside of her, Leah Bertrand, between the two of them, I'm hoping for sub 11.
That's lanes 4 and 5. Lane 1, Sarah Reed. Lane 2, Gabby Murray. Shante Klingscale in 3. Leah Bertrand in 4. Kayla White 5. Javelin, the South African champion, in 6. Shanae Wansbury in 7. Gloria Hooper in 8. The first of 2 heats in the women's 100 meters to reach the final. Away they go. Good, clean start. And it is White who's going out very, very strong, but also is Klingscale. White, Klingscale, and Bertrand. It's going to be so tight. White might just get it. So close. 3 of them across the line. Klingscale, Bertrand, and White. Who's it going to be?
What a photo finish there. I think White might have just taken it on the end there. Kayla White, she had a very good start, and you know the other athletes, Leah Bertrand and Klingscale, came through on their second part of the 100-meter race, and they closed in on her, but then she managed to put in another gear going to the finish line. And it is victory for Kayla White, 11.13 unofficial time.
If it sticks there, it'll be her best this year, improving on her time in Botswana.
Very good race there, as we see White having a good drive phase coming through in her transition to the next phase. High knee lift, but look on the inside, Clinkscale running really well, powering down that straight with powerful arms. Bertrand really tried to get a gap between the two of them, but White proving to be the better of the three at the end, dipping them on the finish line. We spoke about how important that dip is when it comes to a sprinter and their performance, and Kayla White managing to get the victory, 11.16, bettering her season's best for 2026.
Well, thrilling race. The three international athletes across the line together. And it's Kayla White, 11.18 ahead of Chante Clinkscale and Leah Bertrand. Not much between them. Gabby Maria doing well, is South African in 4th place.
And we have the final coming up for the 100 meters that will close off the program. So Kayla White as well as Clinkscale and Leah Bertrand qualifying for the final later, and we'll have the automatic fastest times qualifying. But there we have Abdul Karim, Sean Masengwane getting ready for the 100 meters men. This is massive names when it comes to SA sprinting.
Yeah, it's all going to happen. All warming up.
The legend, Akani Simbine, sub-10 king next to Rivaldo Roberts, who's a phenomenal 60-meter sprinter as well. Ande de Grassi, he needs no introduction, but if you need to be introduced to him, he is an Olympian and he always medals at the Olympic Games.
And it's not difficult to be introduced to him because he's a really warm, friendly guy. So, yeah, here is the young 19-year-old Sarah Boshoff on the long jump runway. And that's greeted with great enthusiasm up in the stands for the local man. Confident young man who's having an opportunity to jump against the best here. A really, really wonderful occasion for the young athletes.
These local athletes, the youngsters, just eating up the crowd, really enjoying the atmosphere, enjoying the support. You know, so good to see that Pack Poldage is actually taking place live in front of us. It is hashtag Pack Poldage. It's a Super Sport Simbine Classic Continental Tour Silver. First time in Africa, and we've been witnessing some phenomenal events so far. And up next we have heat 2 of 2 for the women's senior 100 meter. Teona Tobias in lane 1. She's a long jump specialist, but she's going to be taken on the track. Rumay Berger, the youngster we were hoping to see on the 200 meter, but she's here in the 100 meters. It's a young athlete from South Africa, very, very talented. Kilbrew Samira from the United States of America takes lane 3. Sturgis, this is the one to watch out for. She has the world-leading time in the 200 meters. She just dipped behind Gabby Thomas in Botswana this past week, and she's riding phenomenally well. Next to her in lane 5 is McCoy Maya, the athlete from the United States of America. And then we have our homegrown talent, Viwe Chingi, phenomenal athlete. All smiles, 11.4. She got second at the national championships. The youngster Hannah Hope Vermaak lines up in lane number 7, and concluding the lane draw from Hungary, we got Bolarka Takas.
Quality field here, absolutely. There are 3 sub-11 second runners. Samira Killebrew, Cambria Sturgis, the fastest woman in the world this year, and Maya McCoy, 10.96. Sturgis fastest in the field at 10.87 and 11.07 in Botswana. So in lane 1, Teona Tobias. In lane 2, young Rumay Berger at 18. Samira Killebrew in 3. Cambria Sturgis in 4. Maya McCoy 5. Via Jinkwe in 6. And I hope for Mark in 7. And Boglarka Takash of Hungary in 8, the national record holder at 11.06. Can that go today? Lanes 3, 4 and 5. Away they go, and it is that black pink of Sturgis. She's going to be pushed hard by Killebrew, but Sturgis is going away here. McCoy is chasing her for all she's worth. Sturgis stops the clock at 10.95. What a run! Setting the mark here is Cambria Sturgis, showing she is in rich form, and she is the one to beat, it seems, here in the 100 meters.
Cambria Sturgis, a phenomenal athlete. She showed a class against Gabby Thomas, and she does it here again at Pack Poldage. dipping under the 11 seconds, and that's just the heat. We cannot wait to see what she produces in the final. 10.95 seconds unofficial winning time. Such a powerhouse. Reminds me so much of Shelley-Ann Fraser-Pryce. You know, the little pocket rocket body there, very short in stature, but so powerful. Look at a dry phase, just getting it so perfectly correct, coming up into her transition. McCoy driving a little too long, leaving that transition for late, but getting a better race at the latter end, trying to reel in Sturgis, but it's all Sturgis. 10.95 seconds on the clock. Look at that power, the cadence, the turnover of leg speed, so much determination and focus, and Sturgis is here, and she means business.
And she surely does. Yeah, backing up some impressive performances already this year, tuning up for the relays and showing she is ready for them, that's for sure. And she'll be ready for the final later today as well. So Cambria Sturgis 11.94 world leading 10.94, beg your pardon, world leading time by McCoy, and Takash getting up to take third place.
$10.94, a season's best, and a place in the final later tonight. I mean, what can we expect?
We expect even faster. That's all I can say, even faster. But still, as executing and getting to the finish.
Wow, you made that look so easy. You were out of the blocks like a bullet out of the chamber. Is there anything else that you can do better?
I could come out the box a little bit better. They said set and go pretty fast. But, you know, I just stay focused, stay belligerent, and just go win.
How are you experiencing the South African crowd?
Oh my God, I loved it. I love them. They're so encouraging, so cheery. You know, it brings all the good energy, good vibes.
Cambria, congratulations, but it's not over yet. We're going to see you later in the final, and we're hoping for more fireworks.
Thank you.
Cambria Sturgis at 10.94. She's red hot right now. So showing that Sturgis posting the fastest time by a considerable margin. And South Africa's Viwet Klinkwe getting into the final, which will please local fans no end here.
Yeah, phenomenal there by Viwe. We were hoping for more South Africans in the final, but she's representing us, and she manages to steal that time position qualification spot. But it is the men, and we hear the crowd going well because it is the Grassy, it's SMA, it's Rivaldo Roberts. It's a packed two heat for the men's 100 meter.
Wow, this is a quality field, no question about that. Some of the very best in the business at any generation are on this start line here, and it's going to be fascinating to see how they all go. New Zealand, the United States, Cameroon, South Africa, Canada, all involved in this. Is the first of the men's 100-meter semi-finals, if you like. His African record 9.77. Akani Simbine, the South African champion, South African record holder.
Seems like only lane 8 is vacant, and that was Kyrie King from the United States of America, but the rest of them are there and ready for this. It is from New Zealand, Tian Helton from the USA, Jai Austin, Emmanuel Eseme from Ghana, Rivaldo Roberts from South Africa, Vuyo Moss from South Africa, Ande de Gracie from Canada, and closing it off there is Abdulrahman Karim representing South Africa.
Yeah, this is a quality field. He's the under-23 national champion, in good form at the moment, hasn't gone under 10 yet, so he'll be keen to try and get close to that today, but Austin's been under 10, SMA has been under 10, the Grass, of course, also sub-10 runners. Rivaldo Roberts, 10.09 back in 2023, 10.12 earlier this year here for Roberts. Just another of the growing band of world-class sprinters South Africa producing. And in lane 1 there, Tian Welton, 26-year-old from New Zealand, although born in Cape Town, and went to Polrus Gymnasium, played rugby. And if you go to New Zealand, you play rugby, except that Tian Welton bucked that trend. And he's turned into a sprinter and won the national championships, and he's won it 4 times since 2023. That's Abdulrahman Karim. Austin, 9.89 runner. All these runners will be looking to just peak. Yes, they want to produce a time, but it's all about the World Relays in a few days' time in Botswana. And this man, what a talent he is, just 21.
2 heats, the top 3 automatically qualify, and the rest of them is going to have to battle it out for those last 2 best time qualification lanes.
So Tion Welton representing New Zealand, born in South Africa, and the New Zealand champion alongside him. Jai Austin, 9.89 at best for the American. Emmanuel Esime, what a giant of a man from Cameroon. This man is 9.96, national record holder. Rivaldo Roberts looks relaxed, doesn't he? 10.09, he should be. University of Johannesburg, Marcin Vuyo, a 10.09 runner as well. And that's at the South African Championships. A huge ovation for this man. What he hasn't done has yet to be done. Olympic champion in 2021 in the 200 meters. He's won pretty much everything there is to run. More 200 specialist, but has multiple national Canadian titles over 100 as well. Abdurrahman is in lane 7, lane 8 vacant. Who's it going to be?
I have to give it to the main man, Anna de Grassi, but our athlete from Cameroon. I have good faith in him, Emmanuel Esse. Rivaldo Roberts, don't count him out, a phenomenal 60-meter runner. He's got a 10.09 as well as a 10.12 season's best, so he's in top form.
It's wide open this, you feel. Welton, Austin, Esime, Roberts, Moss, de Grasse, and Abdurrahman. And they'll stand in the shade now, and the wind has died. It's just flapping rather than blowing in the wind there.
He's a professional athlete, so their mental strength is phenomenal. But Luvo Manyonga, the comeback king, he regained his national title at the national champs, jumping over 8 meters, and he's here to put on a show, and he does so. But unfortunately, a no jump for him, just stepping over the plank, so he'll have to reset. But all smiles on this youngster.
Oh, what a transformation after the difficult times he's been through. Into the world indoors this year. He's a world champion. Now focus on the 100 meters. Way they go, good clean start by all, and it's a blanket. Welton's gone well in lane 1. He's holding well. Just inside him is Austin. Austin might hold on. Yeah, he does. From lane 2. 9.87 it is on our clock, but I think it'll round out to just over 10. Well, Austin does the job.
Look at this race. Pildage, and Akani Simbine has not disappointed. He never disappoints. He was switching off the engine. Phenomenal shape, phenomenal form, the king, Akani Simbine.
Javelin Johnson enjoying the toe on the inside there, finishing very impressively, pulling himself up from about 4th or 5th to take 2nd. Well, let's hear from the man himself.
The man, the moment, 998. This is probably your fastest season opener ever.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think so. But happy to come here and run, open up my season. It's my latest opener ever. But happy to start the season, finish off a race healthy and ready for the next race.
And finishing off with a smile, standing there, not as the race director, but as Akani Simbine, the man that everybody came out to watch. How did you feel looking into the crowd and hearing them cheer you on?
For me, it's just the beauty of South African sports, you know, and how sport can all bring us all together. But I'm so happy to see a full stadium, everybody out here supporting athletics, and we're starting something new in South Africa. So this is exciting, man. This is what we do it for, and I hope more kids can dream about being on the track with the likes of us and going to the Olympic Games, representing South Africa and doing their best.
But it's not over yet. The final is happening later on. Is there going to be a mental switch? Is there anything different that's going to happen than what happened now in the heat?
Hey, I'm just going to probably put my race together, you know. Like now it's just trying to find my race pattern again and feel the race, feel the body, and just get the body moving.
Well, Akani, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you in that final.
Bless, thank you so much.
Tell you what, his body is moving. 998 rounded down, and Javelin Johnson follows up at 10:04 in the morning with a 10:07 in the second. He'll be in the final. Aaron Brown will be in the final, and we'll wait and see who joins them in that men's final later today. It is Blasowski and Vuyomos. What a run, what a reward for the young man. He's in the final as well. So 3 South Africans, a couple of Americans, the Canadians, and Cameroonian Izeme. What a final to look forward to.
It's good to see that the South Africans are dominating in this final. We have 3 South Africans over 2 Americans, 2 Canadians, and then our athlete from Cameroon, Emmanuel Izeme, also joining them in the final. So it's going to be one for the books. Gerald, I think we're going to see a fantastic sub 9.9, if the weather allows.
Well, I tell you what, the weather hasn't changed much all day. It's been an absolute peach of a day, and so there should not be too many changes. It'll be a little bit cooler for sure. But this is our 100-meter para men, and of course various different disciplines here for the impaired athletes. And they'll be lining up for the 100 meters here. Some superstars here. Jonathan Tutu, the South African visually impaired athlete, the fastest para-athlete ever in South African history, a silver medalist at the Rio Paralympics. Kumuneo Pizzo, a high jumper at the Paralympics from Tromsburg. A moment for Pizzo. Running with the guide from Namibia is Ananias Sikongo, and his guide is Eben Chibruji. alongside him is Makatu Masala, an 18-year-old visually impaired athlete. The indicates visual impairment. And this is a man many have come to watch as well, Colin Afalela. He goes in lane number 5. Alongside him, the fastest athletes South Africa's ever produced, Jonathan Ntutu, visual impairment. Soletso Mabote goes in lane 7, and alongside him from the University of Stellenbosch, Paul Daniels. Men's senior 100-meter para race. Pitso and then Shikokongo with his guide, Masala, Afalela, Ntutu, Mabote and Daniels. It's about time here, of course. So, every different athlete running a different category. Away they go in this para 100 meters, and Tutu's going very well indeed out in lane number 6, and just inside him Masala as well, and Masala will get that win, the visually impaired runner. Well, as I said, it's about time here for each of these individual athletes. They don't race against each other, they race against the clock. And Masala and Tutu, in fact those two would, because they are T12 athletes. And he took the win, Makatu Masala, in the para sprint, and he's delighted with it too.
Makatu Masala happy with his race in the Kwela para 100-meter race. 11 seconds on the clock, we'll get that final time. And look at him, he is absolutely shocked that he won. He thought Jonathan Ntutu actually took the victory there, but it is Makatu Masala who gets the victory. And he gets his flowers, rightfully so. And running onto the track now, it is our 3,000-meter men's senior race. And we have phenomenal athletes lining up in this race. Tsepo Tite, one of the favorites, as well as Luan Munich, also one of the favorites to take this race.
Lisa, I'm going to leave you there. And
looking at the results there. Masahala Makatu 10.99, Jonathan Ntutu 11.07, and Paul Daniels 11.17. Ananias Shikongo comes in the 4th position from Namibia. That's the men's Aquila para 100-meter results. And we see the prestigious Akani Simbine Classic Continental Tour silver medals being handed out there. This is one that you want to have in your medal cabinet. Musabodi, I wish I could be on the track to race one of those medals.
And I wish you had been there yesterday to witness the banter between Chikongo and Jonathan Ntutu, the man from Namibia, running with his guide. And Jonathan Ntutu, of course, Jonathan Ntutu visually impaired but still has some sight, and Chikongo completely blind. And they were hammering each other. Chikongo saying, I'm looking forward to whipping you on home soil, as we see the Premier of Gauteng, Dade Panyaza Lesufi, just handing out those beautiful medals. Jonathan Ntutu getting his medal, a Paralympian who has put South Africa on the map and performed at his very best, earning those medals at the highest level of disability sports. So he remains an inspiration to many, as do some of these youngsters, including Puseletso Mabote. We've seen him, the youngster, I beg your pardon, from Cares, the King Edward School. He was also in the race, and there really is quality, and importantly, as both you and Geraldine Pillay echoed, opportunity for all here at the Supersport Simbine Classic. Now then, 3,000 meters, 7.5 laps of the track. The distance stuff has come. Daniel Coman, 7:20. That is a mark that will stand for many a year. Adrian Wilskert is the national record holder in this part of the world, performing all over the world. In fact, recently won the New York City half marathon. it's a distance over which the road runners and the track athletes collide. And today we have some talent in the form of Kenya's Silas Centura. He is a sub 27 minutes 10-kilometer runner. Well, that doesn't mean you'll win a 3,000, especially when you come up against 1,500 meter specialists. So given the field we have lined up here, I think the pre-race favorite will have to be that man there. We have Maxime Chamoton. I'm not sure he's running because he's actually on stage. He picked up a late injury when he ran that 5,000 meters at the National, which he failed to finish. But there in 12, Tshepo Tsite, national record holder over 1,500 meters, multiple national record holder. He'll be the man to watch first. Jerry Matsao there on the left, going for many years, recently won the SA 5,000 meter title. Munich, much improved, now going over 3,000. We mentioned Tshepo Tsite, Thapelo Ramokhwase. That in mind, we'll have to keep a keen eye on that first kilometer, indeed the first 200, where they will have to be well inside 35 seconds if they are headed for that 750 mark. But as things stand, it's a sedate start as Jerry Matsao of the Potch Track Club heads out there, slows things down a little bit, and the first 200 covered in about 33 seconds, so not too bad. And Tshepo Tsite taking close order with Luan Manik tracking him.
Jerry Matsao, a very well-versed athlete when it comes to distance, but a very mature athlete. We always say he's aging like fine wine. You know, he's still coming out here. I wonder if he's going to be the pacemaker, if he is a pacemaker. We saw a pacemaker in the 800 meters. Will Jerry Matsao be a pacemaker? We know that he's very skilled when it comes to pacemaking. He's PB 7 minutes 40 seconds and 99 splits. And as Musibori mentioned, Tshepo Tsite is going for a specific time here, sitting on the heels of Jerry Matsao.
Now, Jerry Matsao, a former national record holder at this distance. You mentioned that 740. It made him the fastest 3,000 meter athlete from South Africa of all time. We did have 1 or 2 withdrawals. Expected a stronger East African contingent to give the likes of Tsite, Matsao and Munich a run for their money. As it is, it's only Centura that's up there, but he's only about a 1344 man over 5,000. So not sure that he could hang with the likes of Tshepo Tsite over the fast end. 600 meters, 141. So it's around about 8-minute tempo at the moment, and they'll have to pick it up. But if there's anyone who can complete the final 1,000 in around about 2:32-ish, it's 2:36. It's Tshepo Tsite who continues to run at a comfortable pace, just tucked inside Jerry Matsao. Looks like the Centura of Kenya is starting to tire of the pedestrian pace. And with 800 meters gone in about 2:10, decides to head to the front.
Silas Centura from Kenya deciding he's going to take the lead. He's going to be the best driver for the pace here, and he's running ahead of Jerry Matsao. Now maybe he will help pick up this pace so that we can get to Tshepo Tsite's desired time. Will he be the winner though, Musibori? What is a favorable position to sit in, and when should these athletes break?
Well, it depends on what your personal goal is, whether to win or to run according to a specific time plan. 2:45 for the first kilometer, and for the first 1,000 meters, 2:45. That will give you around about 5:30 if they maintain that tempo for 2 kilometers, and then that should then translate to maybe about a 7:45 if they can maintain. But this is the problematic kilometer in a 3,000 meter race. It's often where the time goes missing. They can return with about a 2:55 or 2:53, where then that 7:50 looks out of it. But we mentioned the blonde hair there. You can just see him tucked at the back, the youngster Msawenkosi Mnisi, much improved, running 10Ks on the track. 3,000, ran a very good race at the South African age group championships to dominate his age group in the under 23 ranks. So now looking to step it up against the big men.
Is this unusual to see though? They're almost running in single file at the moment.
Well, it means that the tempo is being wound up. It means that Silas Centura, who's grown tired of this, is winding things up. And now with 1,400 meters done in well inside 4 minutes. So it's keeping them honest. Luan Manik just keeping his powder dry there. He's well positioned to strike another one who has been running well over 1500 meters, and the 1500 meter specialists will come hard over that last kilometer. It means that for guys like Silas Centura, who also run over 10 kilometers, like Msawenkosi Mnisi, they need to make the tempo high with a high rate over the first 2 kilometers. If it comes down to a sprint finish, you've got to back Tepotsite against anyone, and possibly the likes of Luan Munich to go with him. So looking at this men's 3000, we haven't said much about the Algerian that's in there as well, and they are all looking for times because it's not an official Olympic distance, the 3000 meters. It brings together 1500 meter and 5000 meter specialists, and the Algerian Anis Chart is a 3-5 man over 3 3/4 laps of the track. Pretty handy 2:17 over 1000 meters. That was run earlier on this year, but he hasn't broken the 4-minute mile. That was run here in Potchefstroom earlier on this year, so he's also looking to be dragged to a good time. Now Centura starting to tire slightly. What does the facial expression tell us about him?
He's definitely tired. Maybe that increase of pace was a little too soon there for Centura. We see Mnisi also moving up to the front now. The tall figure of Neil van der Merwe had his going, trying to stay with the top 4. Can Centura keep up with this pace? Will Jerry Mouton be able to increase the pace? Can Mnisi come through and just break the single file running over here? I guess none of them really want to be boxed in. Everyone wants to be free in case it's a sprint finish, which looks like it's going to be a sprint finish. Tepotsite just comfortably sitting in 3rd place now.
Now it's the gather before 800 meter mark to go. The modern distance runner can sprint for 500 meters, and Jerry Matsao making sure that he's well positioned when the sprint comes. 800 to go, just under 6 minutes on the clock. Enoch Bukaba has been left. It means Neil van der Merwe of the Box Athletics Club is at the back of this, what was once a peloton, strung out into single file. Tepotsite still looking comfortable. Centura now starting to struggle, and the eyes of Luan Munich tell a story of concentration. Anos Chot there, the Algerian, also tucked in. Mnisi making sure he stays with them. Tabelo Ramokhwase also struggling to survive as he hangs on to the bunch, which starts to go now. Jerry Matsao, 5,000 meter champion on multiple occasions, 1500 meter national champion on multiple occasions. But is it the same as a Tepotsite, who's an Olympic finalist, a national record holder over 1500 meters? And now the gather starts as they approach the bell, and they begin to drift out wide to take closer order. Centura struggling with the head going side to side. The Kenyan Matsao stays in front. The bell in 7 minutes. I think 7:50 is gone, but 56 or 57 seconds over this last lap will give us at 7:56. If Tepotsite can run hard. Ramokhwase now has been dropped off, so too has Neil van der Merwe. Mnisi struggling to hang on, and here comes Tepotsite. The Kenyan Centura falls back. Luan Munich now starts to fight for the front, takes Tepotsite with him. These two are gone. Jerry Matsao struggling to tread water. The Algerian Chot also fighting for a place on the podium. Here comes Tepotsite. It's Tite against Munich. 1500 against 1500. A former national champion against a current national champion. A national record holder against the man who wants his time. But he opens the gate on the inside for the little man. Here comes Tepotsite. Tite goes past Munich, who glances over his shoulder. Done and dusted is the race. 54 seconds for the final lap. Tepotsite. Luan Munich second, and the Algerian Chonis takes third. A great run from that man to sneak onto the podium and his Chot. And Tite delivers on his promise.
Tepotsite making Mosabori work very hard there in that 54-second final lap in the men's 3,000 meter. But Luan Munich maybe breaking a little too early. They're not being able to hold on to that speed for that long. He should have maybe left it for at least 200, 180 meters, but breaking for 250 meters sprint in the 3,000 meter is very brave from Luan Munich. But he was like, I'm here, it is the Simbine Classic, let's go.
Spot on, Alyssa Conley. And it also is a test of how long you can hold your nerve a middle distance race. When it's slow and tactical, he's thinking, if I don't go now, it's too late. And the experienced Tepotsite saying, I'll just wait for my time. I know my opposition, and I reckon I can outsprint anyone. And if Munich maybe had held on, as you say, and started going for home at 150, perhaps he could have crossed that finish line first. As it was, Tsepotsite delivered on his favorite tag, and that's because early in the race he was content to let the likes of Jerry Matau and Silas Centura lead the race.
We just see Luan Munich breaking there a little too early. 250 meters to sprint in a 3,000 meter race in the final lap is a tough ask, but he took the bull on by the horns, and Tsepotsite just stayed hot on his heels. He's an experienced athlete, Tsepotsite, and he was like, Luan Munich, I'm just going to keep on your heels, and when the time comes, I will make the move. And so he did in that final home straight, and he gets a victory. It is Tsepotsite from South Africa, and Luan Munich hot on his heels in second place.
Chart a good third place, and I love that smile as he crossed the finish line in second, Luan Munich, as if to say, he got me this time, I'll get you next time. And a beautiful sprint finish. But also some more inexperience. He leaves the inside gate open. You've got to make your opponent run wide. Close that gate, shut it, Luan Munich, and make him run as wide as possible into lane 2 or 3 if he wants to beat you. And these are the tricks of the trade that he'll learn, especially in 1500 and 3000 meter running. It can often be a scrappy affair, and you've got to be ready for the dogfight sometimes. And Luan Munich still a developing athlete. Beautiful run from him. So too from Chot, and of course the champion Tsepotsite.
Hashtag Pack Pilgrimage is a very successful event. As we see, the stand is completely packed. The atmosphere is exhilarating, and we have the Duscam 100-meter hurdles woman that will line up shortly. Marianne Fourie, the SA record holder, 12.49 seconds. She's a phenomenal athlete. Ran that record, had a bit of a dip, but came back, and she's the national champion. But lining up in this race from Norway, we have from Hungary, we have Luka Koksa in lane 1. In lane 2 from Serbia, we have Melissa Imini. In lane 3 from France, she's a silver Olympic medalist 2024. We have Cyrena Samba Mayela. In lane 4 from United States of America, Reina Jones. And Tumira Makopa, one of the younger athletes, 18 years old, from South Africa. In lane 5, Megan Niemann, just 17 years of age. In lane 6, Giselle Markeman. In lane 7, one of the more experienced SA athletes, but for the 400-meter hurdles, she'll be taking on the speed race. And Anna Tooth in lane 8 from Hungary.
Yeah, that's Megan Niemann, the talented junior, just 17 years old. She really has been running well this year from Hoërskool Menlo Park. You know, one of those that's been developed and has won medals already at a regional level in some of the SADC competitions. There she is, Tumira Mokopa. Well, she is mercurial and one of the best under-20s in the world that we've ever seen over the 100 and 400 meter hurdles. Emini, watch her. She is a 12.99 athlete at her best from Serbia, 4-time Serbian champion. Will look to go well against the likes of Reina Jones and Cyrena Samba Mayela. Emini, just 26 years old, but Samba Mayela, Olympic silver medalist and European champion, but she hasn't been in red-hot form in the last few weeks. We'll tell you why in a moment as we have a look at Kozak there, the national record holder from Hungary. Expect a good start from her, 7.88 over 60 meters this year, so she could start fast. Will she be able to hold on? Melissa Emini of Serbia, 12.99 at her best this season. 8.22, she's done some 60 meters, an opener for her, so what can she give us? Cyrena Samba Mayela, well, she's already been running this season. Her accolades speak of one of the top athletes in the world, but she was unable to beat this woman at the Botswana Golden Grand Prix over the weekend. Well, Reina Jones absolutely smashed her competition, 12.59 at her best, and could pull this youngster, Tumira Mokopa, who recently broke 13 seconds for the first time, 12.9 early on this year, when the silver medalist at the national championships behind Marianne Fourie will drag Megan Niemann, another youngster who's used to running alongside Tumira Mokopa, 17 and 18 they are. Giselle Macherman, known more as a 400-meter hurdles athlete. She's spoken about the desire to come back, taking a break from the long hurdles to focus on the short hurdles. She ran a season's best 13 to finish 4th at the national championships. And Toth from Hungary, just 22 years old, is a former world under-20 bronze medalist. 8.11 season's best over the 60 meters. So there's the quality. Rainier Jones, 24 years old and 34th on the American all-time list. Tumi Ramokgopa. She is a young woman for the big occasion. Can she today use Jones running right next to her to drag her to the fastest time of her life? It's the women's 100-meter hurdles at the Simbine Classic.
Set.
A clean start and a powerful one from the 60-meter athlete from Hungary, Luka. Luka going well. Here is Kozak. She goes with Raina Jones, but it's all about Raina Jones flying over the finish line. Oh my goodness. 12.4, is it? Looks like a 12.4-ish. Because the clock that came up suggested that it was just outside 12.5, but it was a fabulous finish, pushed all the way by Luka Kozak, and a very fast finish from Tumi Ramokgopa.
Very fast finish from Tumi Ramokgopa indeed, and I think she's going to be absolutely thrilled with the time that she produces. Raina Jones pulling Tumi Ramokgopa with her. Tumi Ramokgopa stuck with Raina Jones for the first 3-4 hurdles before Raina Jones opened up. That just shows the class of Tumi Ramokgopa. We're just waiting for that official result for Raina Jones, but she gets another victory after or coming off of a victory in Gaborone. We just see Giselle Margeman also speaking to her, and she gets her flowers. She is the Dis-Chem 100-meter hurdles champion, and she just waves to the crowd there. It is Raina Jones, phenomenal performance, good execution. Tumi Ramokgopa as well, just thanking the crowd for their support. I'm sure she has run a new PB.
PBs all around, and this is how they did it.
Brilliant start there from Raina Jones. Tumi Ramokgopa not wasting any time, making sure she sticks on the shoulder of Raina Jones, just flawlessly gliding over the hurdles, making no mistake. Also on the inside, Kozak, we said she's going to have a fast start, but she wasn't able to maintain it. She gets second place, and Tumi Ramokgopa dips for the line in third, but victory belongs to this powerhouse. Look at how she just glides over those hurdles. There's absolutely no space between her and the hurdle, and that's premium execution in the 100-meter hurdles there for Raina Jones, and you can see she's happy with her race.
Well, she's in absolutely unbelievable form. You almost wish it was a World Championships or an Olympic year, because she would certainly finish on the podium. She has been fantastic, and we did not once mention the name of Samba Mayela, and that tells you of the quality we saw from the other athletes. Tumi Ramokgopa defeating an Olympic silver medalist. So too for Luka Kozak. Well, Raina Jones had beaten her before, and I think when we see the official times, we could see a new personal best from Raina Jones, which will move her up closer towards the top 20 on the all-time list, especially if it's as fast as the time seemed to promise.
Raina Jones getting an official time of 12.72 seconds. We were hoping for a little faster, but still premium execution there. Luka Kozak 12.88, and Tumi Ramokgopa running another sub-13, 12.97, just out of her personal best of 12.93. But she is ecstatic because she's beaten some phenomenal senior athletes, and she's only 18 years old.
And I think that's a personal best from Megan Niemann, the 17-year-old, 13.2. She was a 13.39 athlete coming into it. So congratulations to that young 17-year-old Megan Niemann, as we watch the main man, the man from 2017, back again, Luvo Manyonga. Can he go over 8 meters? And it looks close.
It's a good jump, it's a clean jump. He gets the white flag, it looks close, the crowd goes wild. It is 781 in his round 1. What has Luvo Manyonga jumped in, I think, round 3 now at the moment for the men's long jump? We'll get that result later. It is Manuel. Divan Manuel, he is from the University of Johannesburg. Phenomenal jumper as well. We know that University of Johannesburg really produces some exceptional triple and long jumpers. And he motors down the runway. Clean jump for him as well. Let's see what distance he gets.
Yeah, they're all flirting with that 8-meter mark. It looks like 7.879s. You can tell by their reaction, 7.81 there for that third round jump, that they're not quite happy. We haven't had the big one yet. Could this be the one from Murali? Building up some speed. Oh, it looks possible. I think that could be one of the biggest jumps we've seen here today. And indeed it is. As we inch closer, centimeter by centimeter. Sri Shankar. Murali Sri Shankar. Finishing on top after round 3, or on top after round 3, I beg your pardon, and Divan Manuel second, and Luva Manyoga in third. Well, the action continues here. And we also have the small matter of a men's shot put. We'll keep you updated with that. Well, one thing about Akani Simbine, even with his Simbine shootout, is the love for non-standard distances.
There we go, and that non-standard distance is the 300-meter women's. We'll have two finals being run in final one. From Norway, we have Laura van der Veen in lane 2. Hannah van Niekerk, phenomenal 400-meter athlete. Rugail Joseph, she is in exceptional form right now. She's a 400-meter hurdler, and I'm sure she's going to run a very fast time on the 300 meters. Marley Viljoen also just missing the victory in Gaborone. Can she get the victory here on the 300 meters? Paris Peoples from the United States of America in lane 5. Kendra Davis in lane 6, also representing the United States of America. Bianca Stabler in lane 7 from the USA. And closing it off, Precious Molepo, also a phenomenal 400-meter athlete. 3 of these athletes will be going to the World Relays for South Africa, racing in the 4x400 meters. So this is an exceptional race just for them to fine-tune their speed for that 4x400 meter challenge coming up for the World Relays in Gaborone. But Rugail Joseph, I'm going to put my money on her. She's in a favorable lane, lane 3. If she runs a really hard 80 meters going into the bend, I think she can close in on probably the favorites from the USA, that is Paris and Kendra.
Well, Paris Peoples are also in action in Gaborone. Well, looked like she was running an early season race, and it often takes 1 or 2 to hit your stride. And Rugail Joseph, well, she was red hot, and with all the content that was shared on Supersport's various social media platforms, the whole of Worcester, where Rugail Joseph is from, came up to congratulate their child, and is turning out to be one of Worcester's most important and popular exports. Rugail Joseph, a 400-meter hurdler. But in this instance, we can't forget the likes of Jada van Staden, I think, who is a 200, 400 athlete and might have a little bit more flat speed than the likes of Joseph. Precious Molepo, we remember what an amazing junior she was, is beginning to find that form since going to the University of Johannesburg under the coaching of Renelwe Apane. Viljoen, I think, ultimately, maybe, after running a personal best in Gaborone on Sunday, might be close to the top of the podium. It's going to be a very tight race here in this women's 300 meters.
Definitely going to be a very tight race, but I think a fast one. A little bit of wind on the back straight there that the athletes are going to have to battle through. But Precious Molepo, she's a phenomenal athlete. Ran the USA Champs last week in the 400 meters, and she's going to be representing South Africa in the 4x400 meters. We also have the Kenyan athlete, who's a late entry there. On her inside, we have Kendra Davis from the United States of America, one of the favorites. We have Paris Peoples also representing the United States of America in lane number 5. And on the inside, we have Marley Viljoen from South Africa. She is one of the favorites to take this race. She's in phenomenal form as well, running a PB in the 400 meters, just missing out on the victory. It seems like we're not going to see Rugail Joseph in lane number 3. It's vacant, but we have Hannah van Niekerk, also phenomenal 400-meter athlete. She comes off a busy National Champs weekend as well as the University Champs weekend, where she ran exceptionally well. What can she produce here? And on the inside, in lane number 1, we have Laura van der Veen. It's 7 athletes lining up for the women's 300-meter race. Precious Molepo is going to have a tough time on the outside in the lane 8. She's going to have to go out really hard before they come into the bend around the 200 meters. She's going to have to try and hold off the athletes on her inside. From the USA, that is Davis and Peoples, but Marley Viljoen, favorable lane for her. She's going to chase down the athletes on her outside, slingshot into the 200-meter bend and hopefully bring it home. Hannah van Niekerk also in lane number 2, one to watch out for.
On your mark.
So it's a tune-up before the World Relays with a number of relay specialists looking for spots in their national teams before the extravaganza in Botswana. Women's 300 meters.
Set.
Off at the first time of asking for this 300-meter race, and already looking good on the inside is Van der Veeren of Norway, but it's the Americans that are running well. Davis, oh, absolutely flying away with it, has gone past Okech of Kenya already with 150 to go. Paris Peoples abiding her time as she comes strong now on the inside. Precious Molepo has been left behind in this one and will take no further order in the top three, or will she? Here comes Marley Falundo going hard at Davis. Okech also fighting back. Okech could have the strength over the last 50 meters, and she does! Oh, she takes it! Davis goes cannoning over the line as she falls over 35.79. And Okech looked like she had been out for a stroll as she wins that 300 meters in comfortable fashion from Davis. And looks like Marley van Yoon may have gotten up there to take third place.
Mercy Okech from Kenya, her speciality is the 400 meters, and we saw that as she came through with that speed endurance in the end. She just sat on the shoulder of people in the inside lane on her, timing that 300 meter perfectly, and it is Mercy Okech that gets the victory for the first 300 meter race. She's got great 200 meter speed as well. Her 400 meter range is between 51.6 and 52, and she came through with a very well executed 300 meter.
So Mercy Okech there. Let's watch it again. And it's a good start in the inside lanes. Hannah van Niekerk, a 400 meter hurdler, former world junior bronze medalist in the white of Turks, starting to fall behind, and this was the stage with 200 to go that we saw the move from Kenondra Davis of the US. There she goes in lane 6, absolutely flying and going past Okech. Precious Molepo out wide in lane 8 is left behind, and now Davis starts powering away from Okech. You think that the race could be wrapped up as Marley Falloon comes back at them, but Okech now using that 400 meter speed to good effect.
Look at that power from Okech, so much determination, and it's like she just has another 3 gears in the bag there, and she just tapped into 1 gear. Davis falling across the finish line. They're trying to dip too soon, too early, trying to reach ahead of Okech, and unfortunately just losing her balance and stumbling over the finish line for second position. But the victory belongs to Mercy Okech from Kenya. Such a powerhouse, and she definitely displayed that in the last 50 meters of that race.
And it looked very, very calculated.
World lead time there of 35.77 from Mercy Okech. Very calculated race, as you've mentioned. Musibodi and Kondra Davis, 35.81. Marley Falloon leaving it for a little bit too late, but running a good 36.30 seconds.
Yeah, good tune-up for Falloon before the World Relays after a personal best in Botswana a couple of days ago. And a little bit of traveling fatigue as well involved with the athletes that participated in Botswana. Ashley Miller, one of those who will represent Zimbabwe in this 300 meters.
On your mark.
And she will be alongside Mia De Beer in shot. That's Candice McLeod of Jamaica. So Miller, De Beer, Christy Logenberg, the junior, Wright, Hogan, Van Staden, Axe and McLeod for this women's 300 meters.
Set.
And they're off on the first gun, and it's a good start from lane number 4, lane number 1 as well. But on the outside, it is Jada Van Staden. Jada Van Staden having a really good start in lane number 6 as they come into the home straight. On her outside is Ergensen from Norway. She's now taking the lead, but on the inside also running well from South Africa. We have Mia De Beer and Christy Lochenberg as they come into the home straight. Lane 1 now, Ashley Miller, she comes through, but Norway trying to fight back. That is Ergensen. Is it going to be Miller? Is it going to be Ergensen? Miller now puts her foot down on the petrol, and it's going to be Miller to take the victory here. Time of 36.54 seconds. Much lower than the first race, but beautiful execution from Miller. The athletes just playing cat and mouse in that race. Different athletes taking the lead at different points of the race. So Ashley Miller from Zimbabwe?
Yep, she's one of those Zimbabweans who spends a lot of time on the... In fact, has an American parent and a Zimbabwean parent, but has grown up pretty much in the US on the college circuit there, running well, and she wins this one.
Actually caught up with her last night at the press, and she really enjoyed the South African pumpkin tart. So it's definitely given her the fuel that she needed to win this 300-meter race, as we watch her in lane number 1, a very difficult, tight lane to run in when it comes to the 300 and 200-meter sprints. Our Norway athlete did really well for their first 120 meters of the race. Jada van Staden was also trying to hold on, and our youngster Mia de Beer had a very good first 200-meter race, but coming into the home straight, all eyes was on Ashley Miller in lane number 1. She had a few more gears than the rest of the ladies, and she made use of those gears here in the 300 meters. She gets the victory for the women's second final in the 300 meters.
Good run from the youngster Christy Lochenberg to stay with some of these more experienced athletes out front there. And she manages to finish in second place. I think she'll be happy with that, especially given that she's already run today. So the juniors, the youth athletes, full of energy and life and relishing this opportunity to test themselves against the best in the world. Ashley Miller, one of those, beats Lochenberg and Josephine Ax of Norway. A trio of 36s. We saw 35s in the earlier race. And handy to watch some 300s before many of those ladies will run the 400 meters at the World Relays. Have a look at the field events. We caught up with the Javelin earlier on. And let's see how this competition finished. And that was our lineup. We saw the likes of Bischoff, Werter, Lowe, Mulder, Barnard, Victor and Van Skalkwyk in South African colors, but all, of course, looking to compete against the Olympic champion.
Yeah, Sarah Kolak from Croatia. And she was the star attraction here, the 2016 Olympic champion. This is Freya Jones from Great Britain, over 50 meters with her second. This is her third effort. Got better and better, did Freya Jones. Good connection there. She looks a lot happier with that, and she should be. Well over 50. Her last was on the 50-meter line, 52.51. Freya Jones, well, she's never looked in anything other after her throws than a little bit concerned. This Jana van Skalkwyk, best of 57.64, the African silver medalist and two-time South African champion. Off she goes. Oh, that's very, very impressive. Well beyond Jones. She'll be delighted with that. That's nudging towards her PB for sure, and may well exceed her 53.12 from the national championships. But the star of the show, 57.22 already, Sarah Kolak from Croatia. 60-meter throw at best. Beautiful. She likes that. She likes it. And so she should. That is enormous. Well, she will be absolutely delighted. Loving the rarefied atmosphere as well. I think 59.23, as close as you can get to 60. And that is a season's best for the former national champion of Croatia and the fourth place finisher at the Paris Olympics. Sarah Kolak, 59.23. Jana van Skalkwyk, a fantastic season's best of 54.77, and Jones in third place.
So we watched the 800 meters and looked at what the finishing time would be. It looked like a shade over 45, maybe a shade inside 144 in the end. Noah Kibet, who stormed away from them with 200 to go, wins it in 144.96. Elliot Giles, a good run from him from England in 145.82, and it was a dashing finish from Christopher Swart to earn that bronze medal in 146.
Well, we saw an absolute thriller in the 3,000 meters. Chepo Tsuete showing his class once again and holding off strong finishing Luan Munich, who continues to threaten all these middle distance athletes. He is a real comer, and his shot of Algeria in third place, 7:56, but a real battle between the two South Africans for first and second, won by Chepo Chiete.
Well, as the sun sets over the Pilditch Athletic Stadium, the evening welcomes a sense of anticipation with the 100 meters. The Blue Ribbon event that will bring the curtain down on a day of festivities here at the track.
It does feel like that, doesn't it, Mosabodi? Because there's such an electric vibe here. Obviously, the introduction, the inclusion of the international athletes, but the Simbine magic is in the air. We've got Olympic champions, world champions everywhere. So there is an electric atmosphere here. Wonderful. And the unusual events, the 300 meters, 3,000 meters. You don't often see them at major championships and major events. So it's adding a bit of spice, and this is the field for the men's first 300-meter final, and there are some pretty handy athletes in this. Those lanes 4, 5, and 6. Nene, Kukumur, and Pillay. Never mind Gardia Isaacs. That's just from a South African perspective. There's high quality here, that's for sure. Over 400 meters, but this is slightly different.
So we have one or two from all over the world, and Alex Haddock from Great Britain.
That's Izzadine Aroti from Algeria, 33.72 over the 300 meters. Not all of them have got competitive 300 meter times. That's Dean Miller, 34.83. He's a hurdler, generally. And then inside him will be Tandazani Ndlovu from Zimbabwe, 21.18, 200 runner.
There's the young man. How tired will he be after running inside 45 seconds for 400 meters?
Yeah, interesting. He ran an unbelievable run earlier today, 44.97 I think it was, and he'll be on a high, I'm sure, from that. But yeah, how tired will he be, or will he just be carried by the adrenaline and the energy and the pride? Gardia Isaacs on the outside here, another brilliant 400 athlete, but the fastest over 300 in this field at 31.91, and the fastest over 200 at 27.3, so could be interesting.
Well, 3 former SA national champions also in this one, in Nene, Isaacs and Pillay. The youngster Kukumur, sub 45, the bronze medalist from the UK over 4x400. Haddock, a mouth-watering lineup for this men's 300 meters.
Set.
Miller and Ndlovu, Haddock, Wilson, Nene, Kukumur, Pillay, Roti, and Isaacs on the outside, who's started very well indeed, but making up ground is Nene already. This is going to be a real showdown. Like Pillay holding well on the bend now. He'll start catching up to Gardio Isaacs, and on his side is Nene. This is the pyramid. This is the top of the tree in the 400 meters, doing it over 300 meters. Pillay, Nene, Isaacs. It's going to be live. Pillay, he will take it, and he will take it in 31.59.
Woo! Live Pillay declared before this event that he was looking to win it. There was a bit of banter between the likes of Pillay and Nene. Nene saying that he wasn't at the national championships where Live Pillay won. Nene winning the Kipkeno Classic 400 on Friday night in Nairobi, and he declared that he would smoke them coming out fast. Well, he almost won it, but ran out of gas over those last 50 meters as Live Pillay reeled him in. Second place for Gardeo Isaacs, a strong finish for him as well. And 1, 2, 3 going to the South African contingent. The young man clearly still quite tired after his exploits over 400 meters, Leandad Kukumur. And perhaps we expected a little bit more from Alex Haddock Wilson. But he's going well there in lane 3. Tandazani Ndlovu of Zimbabwe won in Gaborone over the weekend. At this stage, he's still up there, but it's this destruction caused by Zaditi Nene, where you think he must run away with it. Live Pillay just stays there, doesn't go away. Nene running out of gas is caught by both Pillay and Isaacs. And that was an entertaining 300 meters.
Absolutely, and wonderful to see the three South Africans, first, second, and third here. Bodes really well for the relays. Add to that, of course, Kukumur. I mean, there's just so much talent, so much to choose from. Getting the combinations right will be key. And they are 31.58, a world lead. Not run often this event, so but a handy time. Nevertheless, anything under 32 is very, very handy indeed.
So to the shot put now. Well, we'll catch up with Aiden Smith and the others in a little bit. Let's continue with the men's 300 meters. So that one and a world lead. Could we see a world lead lasting only a matter of minutes?
Well, that man, Chidi Okezi, who just caught a glimpse of from Nigeria, he's in the mix. One of the faster 300 runners in this field. But Samukonga, Muzala Samukonga is the man to look out for here. In lane 6, the Zambian Olympic bronze medalist over 400 meters, Commonwealth Games champion, a real star. Dupriya, Oosthuizen, Swart, and Magubani from South Africa. Then Ivan Danny Geldenhuys there, 400 national champion from Namibia. Samukonga, Okezi, and Haran Adoli from Uganda in lane 8. I think it might look like a few gaps in this field. Magubani is not there.
Well, it's a clean start, and with no one there in lane 4, it means that it's going to be a chase for the lanes on the outside. Muzara Samukonga, Olympic bronze medalist over 400, is flying. He's eaten up the track in front of him with Chidi going backwards. Chidi Okeze will have to work to stay in touch with Muzara Samukonga, but here comes Ozeke, and on the inside there's the likes of Ivan Geldenhuys, who's also going strong. It's going to be a tight finish between Luyanda Makubane, but it's Muzara Samukonga, the Zambian, and oh, it looked like at one stage it would have been inside 31 seconds. Wonderful congratulations there from Chidi Okezi, but it looked like he might just sneak in inside 31 seconds. Fabulous run there from Muzara Samukonga.
He is a superstar, Samukonga, and he produced the goods here under a bit of pressure on the inside from Adrian Swart, the South African, who congratulates him there. But yeah, very, very impressive run by a class act, Samukonga. 43.74 400-meter runner. And this is how he did the job.
So lane 4 empty and no Luyanda Makubane. Adrian Swart now coming in there in lane 3, but he's falling behind. Initially, Chidi Okezi tries to keep pace with Samukonga, but that's where he just flew away from him. A good comeback from Swart here, but not enough. This man shows his 400-meter strength in the final 50 meters of this race. Well inside 31.5 for Muzara Samukonga, and even Chidi Okezi likes it.
Well, you don't often get to see the 300 meters, but Samukonga's now the world leader. I can't think that too many have been run this year, but he is now the world leader over 300, and he's not likely to run it again this year. But nevertheless, there's the time. Wade van Niekerk is holds the South African record over 300 meters. He's not here, of course. So, getting down to the fun part. I mean, it's all fun, but the relays do attract attention, shine a spotlight on a multitude of athletes and their skills in handling the baton, handing it over. And we've got a wonderful opportunity here because we've got relays involving the universities. Tux Athletics are here, but they're up against national teams from Chile, Poland, South Africa and Hungary. And what a chance for them.
Well, it's looking like a last tune-up before the World Relay. South Africa will have more than one team and some individuals as well. Spotted Shane Wansbury there. and that is Javelin. She would expect to make, well, what would traditionally be known as the A squad for South Africa and their 4x100 meter team. But running in that 100 meters, she would have seen what the world-class level is. That individual 100 meters, which was won by Cambria Sturgis, the training partner of Gabby Thomas, inside 11 seconds, gives many of these other athletes an idea of what that world-class American, Jamaican, and European standard can be.
I think that's such an important point about today's events, and right there we're looking at Menlo Park, a high school from just on the road here in Johannesburg, at least Tshwane in Pretoria, and Tux, the athletes just out of school, up against some of the very best from around the world. And be it that they might not win the races, they will look across the track and say, I've shared the track with you, and actually you weren't that far ahead of me. I can do this. I can do this. It makes them believe. It gives them that confidence that they are on the right track, and it's wonderful to see. So Chile in lane number 4 here. Gabby Maria picks up the baton. She'll lead them off for South Africa. And South Africa will go in lane 6. So it's Menlo Park, Chile, Poland, South Africa, Hungary, and Tux on the outside. Javelin looked as though she may anchor at home. Hungarians, that'll be a threat as well. All part of preparing for the World Relays in Gaborone this weekend. What an event that's going to be.
And more for the schools relay team, Menlo Park. Imagine that.
Yeah.
On the track against some national teams.
Yeah, they'll be sitting back on the weekend watching the World Relays and saying, hang on, I raced against them and I could have beaten them. No,
if
that's
only
part
I
of
had
what
a
it's
different
about,
lunch. So that's what makes it exciting. The opportunity to measure yourself, and they are the Menlo Park youngsters. And relays are a big part of life in this part of the world. The AFLOS often ends a school's inter-high program. And this will be the big stage. They'll be used to winning their school's competitions.
And they probably run a lot more relays than the full-time athletes here. So their changeover skills will be pretty well honed, that's for sure. Not that the others won't, but the practice makes perfect.
Spot on. And remember, it's the speed of the baton, not the speed of the athlete. You have to get that baton around. Relays always bring great drama. And expect that it will be no different today. Menlo Park, Chile, Poland, Tux and Hungary. With that one lane open. Lane 5, so no Poland. Chile is there. And South Africa also. So 5 relay teams there. Menlo Park, Chile, South Africa, Tux, and Hungary out wide.
Entire track now in the shadow of the main stand as the sun sinks in the west as we get towards the business end of today's program at the Supersport Simbine Classic Continental Tour Silver event, and this is the women's 4x100 meter relay. Menlo Park School from here in Tshwane, then Chile. No one in lane 5. Then South Africa, Hungary, and Tux. Gabby Maria for South Africa.
Say it.
Maria gets out cleanly, as do all of them. And already the Menlo Park athletes up on the shoulder of the Chilean. Chileans will have to run cleanly. Let's watch this first changeover. And they are smooth. Chile have a really good changeover there, and all of them managed to get the baton across as South Africa now look for another clean changeover. This is a good run from the Hungarians, who will lead now with less than 200 meters to go. South Africa having to catch up, so do to Chile, and Menlupart fighting back there on the inside. The final changeover is clean. Jovial and Bisha will need to do some catching now. It's going to be a tight finish between these two. Here comes Jovial and Bisha. Does she have the strength to catch on the line? Oh, she brings the crowd to their feet. Catches the Hungarian on the line, and South Africa win that one from Hungary. A dramatic relay, and that's precisely what they came to see. They love it.
Yeah, that was fantastic. What a good anchor leg by Javelin Bisha. They had lots of work to do, but the momentum was with her. There was a really good third leg run that saw South Africa claw back meters on the Hungarians, and she launched over the last 100 and powered away. Such power over the last 50 to finish it off. Javelin Bisha, the South African 100-meter champion, and that will make South Africa feel so confident going into Gaborone this weekend.
Definitely what they would have asked for. 3 clean changeovers, the first of them coming from Gabby Marais. She's not exactly in the lead at this stage. It's a good run from the Hungarians, and they probably were marginally ahead at this stage. Chile fighting back. The youngsters also still in the race, the high school students, Menlupart. But this is where the Hungarians took the lead. A fabulous back straight being run there. And at this stage you think, well, South Africa could be out of this one, but they managed just to stay in touch at the important moment, with Rumey Burger running a fabulous bend there, the 200-meter champion from 2025. She hands over to Jovial Mbisha, who still has some work to do. The Hungarian seeing daylight in front of her. Look at the determination on the face of Mbisha. That's how much she wants it, and that's how she takes it.
There's so much to be said for the team here, because Javelin Bisha there, you could see Rumey Burger screaming her on as she went off, and Bisha carried that with her and said, I won't let you down, and just drove to the finish. Really good to watch, and a fantastic run. 43.83, South Africa take the win there ahead of the Hungarians with Menlo Park. What a run by them. Menlo Park beating the national teams from Chile, and Tux taking third.
Excellent question asked by Alyssa Conley, who will come up in just a short while, about Viwe Chingle, which I think many people will be asking at home. Why isn't she running the relay? Well, she's coming up at the final of the women's 100 meters, so good for people to know she is a favorite across the country. Men's 4x1.
Boy, we've got a big field here as well. There are 8 slated to run here in this Menlo Park. South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, another South African squad, Eswatini, Tux and Angola.
And
so
these are relay teams, I beg your pardon, Gerald, where people are looking for positions, and many of these are some of the smaller nations, and even the South African team here is not the main team. So this is an opportunity 4x1, a chance for either one of the national teams to run a really quick time, or for the South Africans to get a place in the team that ran that 37.57 back at the Paris Olympics.
yeah, very, the point made. Viwe Chingle is running the final. Of course, we've got 3 South Africans in the men's 100 final. So, yeah, there are so many options for South Africa. So, 4 athletes here, probably competing for 2 places, maybe 3 when they go to Botswana, as part of the greater team. Likewise, the other team. So, men's 4x100. Great atmosphere in here. Huge crowd here at Pilditch on the west of Pretoria. What a moment for this quartet.
Megan Niemann there, having run a personal best over the 100-meter hurdles, comes back to be part of the relay team and picks up her medal. A beautiful moment for these youngsters, and that's a beautiful big medal from the Simbine Classic World Athletics Continental to a silver label event. You'll frame that one, because that's not a guarantee. You might have to run for 3 or 4 years to pick up another one like that. And these are the Hungarians who picked up the silver. And next up will be the South Africans.
Yeah, headlining in Tshwane in Pretoria here. Menlo Park beat Chile. And that's some doing. Well done. Speaks volumes for their track and field program going on at Menlo Park.
Well, 2 University of Johannesburg athletes in that South African contingent. There's the first from Hoërskool Randburg originally, Jovial Mbisha. There's from the University of Free State. There's where Gabby Marais made a name for herself, and of course Rume Burger also from the Free State. And still in matric is Rume Burger, believe it or not.
Men's about to get underway. Menlo Park, South Africa, no Zimbabwe, South Africa, Namibia at least, then South Africa, Eswatini. Oopsie.
That looked like Kyatini of South Africa. Yes, it's so another issue.
Yeah, I think it's the starters having problems. Angola, Eswatini.
Menlo Park,
Menlo Park on the inside. South Africa. Namibia.
Oh, I think we have 2 teams from South Africa, Gerald.
Yeah, we have 2 teams from South Africa.
Yeah, so you're right. Menlo Park, South Africa. Empty South Africa again. Another empty lane, Eswatini and Angola.
But only one of the South Africans wearing, I think, the South African apparel.
I think it is South Africa, perhaps. I thought I saw Zatu Hlongwane, but maybe it is Namibia. I'm not quite sure here. There have been some late changes. I think it could be the Namibians.
Ovation for the announcement of a new South African record in the women's 300, I think. I think the starter's all right. It may be the timekeepers are having issues.
So that is Zatu Hlongwane, and he's running the back straight, but it looks like there is a little bit of a technical issue. So it is Namibia, in fact. So only 1 South African team will run and not 2. Apologies for that, as we showed.
Right, the whistle's gone and they're under starters orders. Menlo Park in 1. Can they emulate their girls team here? The young men. South Africa. No Zimbabwe. Then Namibia, Eswatini, and Angola on the outside as they go well. Angola have got off to a very, very good start, but South Africa are eating up ground now. Good, clean handover, excellent handover now. South Africa looking to bring it home here. They've got the bend to deal with, and they've done exceptionally well here. Can they bring it home? Angola have lost ground. Down goes an athlete there, but it is South Africa. Oh, there's trouble here. Just had to switch the baton to the other hand, and now they're going to bring it home here. South Africa will storm away here. A very, very comfortable win and an impressive run by this quartet of young men pushing to put themselves in the frame for the relay champs. But very, very strong run by that quartet.
Finished by Emil Erasmus, a man who knows what it's like to run in a successful South African relay team. We have to go back 10 years to the year 2016 when South Africa hosted the African Championships in Durban, and he formed part of a quartet that included Wade van Niekerk and Akani Simbine, a testament to Simbine's longevity that he's still in the main A relay team 10 years later. So they won the gold medal on that occasion. Emil Erasmus was there. Emil Erasmus now is South Africa B essentially, with some of the youngsters like Zatu Hlongwane, who completed his matric just last year at Kura Hazeldean. So Emil Erasmus has also been going for some time, and he produced a strong finish. But at this stage, it was still quite open. The youngsters, Menlo Park struggling, Eswatini looking good. And a beautiful, silky smooth changeover from the Angolans. And the man encouraging him falls over, but he stays in the race. Eswatini there as well. Namibia, well, they started falling behind here. Zatu Songwane ran a fabulous bend, and at one stage it looked like he had pulled his hamstring, but managed to stay in touch. And once Emil Erasmus got the baton quite so far ahead, he was never going to relinquish that lead.
Good power over that ankle leg. You need it there. And he didn't have to pull anyone back, but a wink of an eye. Confident young man. He's back racing impressively, is Emil Erasmus.
So, Kiakini, Kolcheni, Songwane, and Erasmus get 38.75. Good run from Eswatini. Angola, after they had looked promising, well, two of their athletes took a tumble, and eventually 40.92 was all they could manage. Well done to Namibia as well for finishing inside the top 3.
Well, there are just 3 events remaining at this meeting, and mouth-watering ones. One, we'll move away from the sprints, which have been a terrific focus over the last while. There is the women's team won the relay, and we'll be moving to the women's 1500.
Some famous faces. Thomas Mlambo, one of our colleagues at the World of Champion, and I think he was next to musician of yesteryear, Athama Fukate. And people coming out to enjoy this one here as we look ahead to the women's 1,500 meters. And this tends to happen towards the end of a competition with relays about. Lots of milling around as some teams finish and others set to start.
Well, there's youngsters from Menlo Park still basking in the thrill of not just taking part here, but actually finishing on the podium in 3rd place in their relay.
Spot Akani Simbini's father there in the VIP section watching the action, so he'll be looking forward to that.
He must
Simbini
be so
Senior.
proud.
Bayanda Walaza, chatted to him yesterday.
What's his story at the moment? How's he doing?
Well, he says he's coming back from injury quite well. He expects to be in action for the second half of the year, the summer, as we get into summer around September. But he's happy that the injury, he's a positive young man. He says he's happy that the injury took place this year and not in a World Championships or Olympic year. So Bayanda Walaza, there we go, greeting the crowd. He's loved, and he's a wonderful, positive entity, always wearing a broad smile. And there are some of the youngsters that he is now a celebrity amongst, and some of them he was wearing the same uniform as just a couple of years ago.
Absolutely. What a meteoric rise it has been for a real talent. And yeah, we talk about the rich seam of talent available to South African relays and across. I mean, he's not even part of the mix at the moment yet. So yeah, there's so much promise.
Gaseb, who ran such a good 400 and 200 for Namibia, collecting his bronze medal for the relay. So he's had a busy day. 200, 400, winning those, and also 4x100 meter relay. Zatu Songwane gets his gold. Well done to that young man who's at the University of Pretoria now. And we have Michali Toteni and Tsepo Kakini there. The two of them getting their gold medals. And the last man who ran a very strong anchor leg, the powerful Emil Erasmus, the evergreen Emil Erasmus, who, like Akani Simbine, who mentioned yesterday, is on the other side, the wrong side of 30, but still sprinting well is Emil Erasmus.
Found new legs, it's wonderful to see. Ran an excellent anchor leg to bring South Africa home. The work was done. Wasn't a huge amount of opposition, but there they are. Keeping it in Africa. South Africa, Swatini and Namibia.
So perhaps that's why we also struggle to spot the Namibians running in a little bit different kits.
Variety of kit.
But good to see that they managed to get out here, bring a relay team, and look forward to seeing them competing in Gaborone. There are the boys from Menlo Park. There they are, these youngsters. And the fans are waiting for the main event.
Oh, aren't they just? We have been treated to wonderful track and field action all afternoon. But it comes down to the last two events. We've still got a 1500 meters women's race to enjoy, and we have got some superstars in that one, of course. And then we've got the men's and women's 100 meter finals after the semi-finals kicked the program off earlier this afternoon. And we've already seen a sub 10-second run, and there's every chance you might see another one. Here they come, the athletes for the women's 1500 meters, led by Judy Kamunto, who's doing her second run today, having run earlier. A number of these are, in fact. Coming up there is Karina Viljoen, Karma More, a real contender, Karina Swegas. This is the cream of South Africa's crop at the moment.
A really, really good lineup so far as South Africans are concerned. And I think Judy Kamunto, with all the respect to her, is not at the highest echelon of Kenyan 1500 meter runners. Is going to have to run very well to try and defeat the likes of Prudence Godiso. It's going to be a battle in particular between Prudence Godiso and Karabo More, who won the national title ahead of Segodiso. Segodiso said, well, she wasn't too bothered with that because her main race on that occasion was the 800 meters. Expect these two to clash. Don't forget Viljoen as well there. Was one of the fastest South Africans over the mile distance. So Tini Kondala is also there, and she's the national under 23 champion. Babalocha Tebe was second behind Tini Kondala at the Germiston Stadium. Oh my goodness, it's quality. And Karina Swegas, if the race is slow, tactical and untidy, can often come through onto the podium. So this is a good lineup, but you expect that it will come up to a dust-up between Segodiso and More. Andrea Steinberg as well, often a medalist and a winner on the podium at the age group championships out at the Potch Track Club, originally from the Free State in Bethlehem. So they will all know that perhaps the minor positions are open, and that Caster Semenya 359, if ever it had been vulnerable, it will be vulnerable to Prudence Godiso, who has now run well under 2 minutes as the world indoor champion from 2025.
So the lineup for the women's 1500 meters, the last of the distance events at today's meeting, and all eyes on Prudence Godiso there. Come into the Kenyan, and otherwise it's all the South Africans. Karina Swegas will want to slow. Karabo More could be a contender. Karina Viljoen, Andrea Steinberg. There's so much quality here across the ages, and we're about to see how it all unfolds.
Yeah, that is. Okay. On your marks.
Gun for the women's 1500 meters, and it's a one-off race. And in this field, Karina Viljoen, Andrea Steinberg, Prudence Godiso, former 800 meter indoor world champion, Karabo More is in the red vest, and from Kenya, Judy Kamunto, who goes to the front now. Won earlier today over 800 meters, but this might be a field that'll test her a little bit more than she's expecting.
And perhaps Kamunto could be acting as a pacemaker. I suspect, given how well she ran over 800 meters. But she might be ready to finish. But the three that we expect to be out front behind Kemunte are, and the two with sub 4:10 clockings, More and Prudence Godiso, are the only ones interested in going with Kemunte. It means that it's going to be a battle in that bunch behind, and those two now going to chase Judy Kemunte. But the way that they are running, it seems as though there's been some sort of pre-race meeting which would suggest that the Kenyan here in shot is a pacemaker, and the race proper is between these two. Did you see the look that Segodiso gave across to Karabo More?
Yeah, I think they know now. The battle lines are drawn, and it's those two now who are going to be racing each other. Never mind the Kenyan up front. It's Karabo More just ahead of Prudence Segodiso there, and then stringing out behind them Sueches, Falun and the rest of them. But it's going to be a battle here, as Kemunte is probably going to ease off now, and she ran on 800 earlier today and ran that comfortably to win it with comfortable ease. But it is about More and Segodiso here.
Well, the first 700 meters will tell a story. We need to be inside 2 minutes, and we're well inside if they're going to target somewhere around the 4-minute mark. And Karabo More will know one important thing. If she's going to beat Prudence Godiso today, she cannot let this end up in a sprint finish. She enjoys the better conditioning over the longer distances, 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, where she's run personal bests in the Absa Run Your City series, recently ran one in the Spa Grand Prix. And so our pacemaker's gone, it looks like, Judy Kemunte, and these two are now in a race proper and are way out in front, and Prudence Godiso now just tucking in to the inside lane. But every time she tucks in, More going wide, and looks like she's unsure whether she should take the lead or tuck in behind her. Yeah, and that's what's leading to that confusion there.
Yeah, she's sitting there, and Prudence is giving absolutely nothing away here. She is implacable there, just marking out a pace here, and the race might be coming back to them as well, because the runs on behind them, they are running at very, very sedate pace, concentrating on each other. They'll take the bell here at 3:07, and away they go now. It'll start ramping up, I feel.
Sub 4:10, 4:09 at their best, these two athletes, and not giving an inch. Karabo More still unwilling to tuck in behind Segodiso or head out in front of her. Every time she looks to press in front of her, Segodiso just increases the pace slightly to hold on to that inside lane, and now the move has been made. We expected that the athlete with the superior 800 meters, 1:57 at her best, will wait for the time to strike. Andrea Steinberg and Karina Falun fighting for third there, but second looks like it will end up with Karabo More, because Prudence Godiso has put down the foot on the pedal, on the turbo, and she's flying away. Let's watch the clock. This could be a new personal best for Prudence Godiso. 1,500 meters. She's a 4:09 athlete at her best. How fast can she close over these last few meters? Prudence Godiso wins the 1,500 meters and beats her personal best by almost a second. A good second place from Karabo More, and Karina Falun wins the battle for third over Andrea Steinberg.
Well, that was immaculately done, so tactically astute and smart. She knew what she had to do with Karabo More, and she just turned it on with 300 to go, and within 15-20 meters she was away and taking chunks out of Karabo More, who held on well and took second place. But Segodiso, well, she's a superstar here in South Africa, and she gets the welcome that she deserves. She'll be delighted. A personal best in the 1,500 meters. And she's enjoying the ovation she's getting from the crowd. She's going to throw her number and her bouquet into the stands to a lucky spectator. There it goes, and it's well caught. Delight all over her face, Prudence Godiso. Yeah, that was a job well done. Very, very well done. Congratulations for More. They were stuck together until 300 to go, and then the afterburners were lit, and away she went. Falyun in third place, More in second, one of those lovely big medals, and Prudence Sekgodiso. She hasn't stopped smiling since she's got off the track, and she knows she has found some really good form now, Sekgodiso.
Prudence Sekgodiso running a phenomenal race there. She said in the press conference yesterday it's not her main event, but she's going to come out here and just comfortably stick to the race plan that her and her coach has planned for the 1,500 meters, and she did so in such a fashionable manner.
She knew exactly what she was about here. More started on the outside, and More kept looking to see where Sekgodiso was. She managed to get to the front for now. Pimento was just the pacemaker. These two were biding their time and then just turned up the turbo, and away she went.
Turning up the turbo so easily. She almost got a little bored there and was like, okay, I'm ready, let's go. She put her engine in a different gear, and look at Prudence Sekgodiso go. She is an 800 meter specialist, so she has that speed on Karabo More, and she definitely displays this here in this last 220 meters, where she just decided to pick up the pace, and she set daylight between herself and Karabo More to get a personal best time in the 1,500 meters. Phenomenal run by Prudence Sekgodiso. Such a composed athlete as well.
Absolutely. She was never in any stress at all. Expressionless face. More was always looking a little bit stressed, but Sekgodiso said, "You won't get anything out of me, and you won't see me for the last 300 because I'm away." And look at the delight on her face. She knew she'd run a time that she had never run before, and she was delighted with that. So 4:08.93, a personal best for Prudence Sekgodiso as she wins the 1,500 meters for women.
Prudence, what a way to conclude your South African season with a win, revenge over Karabo, and a personal best.
Oh no, I'm so excited. We had one plan, just to, follow the pacer. And yeah, that's what I did, and I'm happy with my time. And yeah, man, I'm just excited.
You are very excited. For me, it looked like this was the rematch that you wanted, and you got it.
Well, kind of. I know I'm not in shape yet. It's still early in the season. My coach said I might just be in the top 3. Yeah, man, that season's still, there's still a lot of races to come. So yeah, this was just part of training. And I didn't think I was gonna run a PB here. But I'm just over the moon, and it shows that my training is paying off. And yeah, now going back to the drawing board, getting ready for my European season.
Getting ready for your European season. But let's talk about the Akani Simbine Continental Silver Label, right here, running in front of a home crowd, and just hearing the crowd roar you on to that personal best.
When I stepped on the track, going to the starting line, I just heard noise, and I was like, oh my word, it's like this. And man, this was a great meet, and yeah, I hope next time we come back bigger. This was amazing, man.
Definitely bigger. We're going to get a close-up of the nails and the gold medal coming out.
And my face as well. I'm joking. But yeah, man, I'm just excited.
And so you should be. Congratulations and all the best for the rest of your season.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for the support. We really appreciate it. And yeah, next I'll come back bigger. And yeah, thank you.
Bottle that energy. It's very special. Prudence Sekgodiso after winning her 1,500. Great start or end to a South African campaign, and now she can start building for what is hoped to be a super European campaign.
Definitely also bringing back the fashion to track for the SA athletes. She said it's the nails, it's the face beads, it's everything is just on point.
Yeah, I thought that was your, the sprinter speciality, isn't it?
I mean, clearly Prudence Sekgodiso is the one that's bringing the fashion to track here, and we love to to see it, motivating the athletes not only to take part in track and field, but also to come in style, you know, and she does that, just a bundle of excitement. She was just here to stay behind the pacemaker, and by doing that, she gets a personal best.
Yeah, she said she wasn't expecting to run a personal best, but when you're in that sort of shape, she knew it was on her way. Now, some long jump action, and a really intriguing competition all the way through the long jump. This was our full field. It took place right in front of the grandstand here, and the men to watch here, of course, Luva Manyonga and Sri Shankar Murali, the last two names on that list, the biggest jumpers in this field. And there he is, Luva Manyonga, the comeback man. I think we can probably retire that because he's here now. Looking for an 8-meter jump here. He's done that a couple of times this year at the South African Championships, and an indoor jump of 8.11 in the United States. And the flag is white, and he looks satisfied, not overjoyed. Well, 7.86, just a centimeter longer than his fourth round, and yep, he's looking good now. Divan Manuel, who's been in excellent form this year, 8.13 for him, 7.85 his fifth effort. Good speed. Oh, nice elevation. That's an excellent jump. Excellent jump from Divan Manuel. 8.07. Very, very impressive. Look at the fire in his eyes. So, Divan Manuel, 8.07, his season's best. First time over 8 meters this season. But this is the man who's looking to beat them all. From India, the 5-time national champion. 8.15 just a couple of weeks ago in India. He goes, and that looks even better. He knows it is as well. 8.12. Well, that is super from the Indian star Sri Shankar, Murali Sri Shankar, and 8.12. Just 2 centimeters shy of his best this year, but he's obviously in very good form because 2 big jumps in this season, and he takes the win ahead of Divan Manuel. Luva Manyonga will he will look to build and go beyond 8 meters next time out.
Luva Manyonga being consistent in that 8-meter area. Also, Gaten McKenzie. He is the South African Sports and Recreation Minister, and definitely out here to support the Supersport Simbine Classic Continental Tour Silver, and it's good to see that he's out here to support the athletes.
He is, yeah, he likes to be at the events, which is good. I thought in that tracksuit he might be coming out to run. He's not, but these are. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the penultimate event of the program at this wonderful Supersport Simbine Classic for 2026. The athletes coming out for the women's 100-meter final. Kayla White there. We've already seen Killebrew Bertrand. This is the fastest woman in the world this year. Sturgis. The elegant figure of McCoy. Chante Klingscale. And representing Europe, Boglaka Takash, and the sole South African in the field, the richly talented and well-supported Vivi Chikri.
A phenomenal lineup there for the women's 100-meter final. The favorite, of course, lining up in lane number 4. Cambria Sturgis running a 10.94 seconds in the heat, but Maya McCoy, the tall, strong figure of Maya McCoy, 11.11. Her personal best is 10.96. Can she get closer to that? Also, Chante Klingscale, one of the top qualifiers, 11.20. She ran a PB actually in the heats, bettering her PB of 11.26 seconds. She's only run faster, but it was illegal due to the wind, so she must be very happy with the performance, and she's going to want to come out here and run even faster in the final. We also have Viwe Chingi, 11.50, her personal best 11.22. Can we get closer to that in this race? It is a platform for her to utilize. The weather again is absolutely phenomenal. On the inside lanes there in lane 1 we have Kilbrew running 11.42, far off from her PB of 10.99, but very early in the season for those athletes. Leah Bertrand from Trinidad and Tobago, 4 times national champion from Trinidad and Tobago, 10.92 PB, but qualifying with 11.21. One of the favorites as well that's going to contest against Cambria Sturgis is Kayla White. She was victorious in the 200 meters in Gaborone, Botswana. Can she be victorious here over Cambria? But far off there, 11.17, the third fastest qualifier for this final. But we all know it is a final, regardless of what you ran in the heat. Everyone lines up at the starting blocks, and it's yourself, the clock, and a 100-meter track.
Yeah, nothing like a final to heighten the senses and to build the tension. The lights from the grandstand are on, illuminating the 100-meter. The rest of the track pretty much in the dark, so it's a really dramatic atmosphere. Killebrew, 10.98 personal best. There's Bertrand from Trinidad and Tobago, 10.92, the national champion there a number of times. Kayla White, 10.84 personal best. Looking to take on Cambria Sturgis, who's the form runner at this stage around the world. 10.94 in the semis, 10.87 personal best. Maya McCoy, who ran the All Africa Games for Liberia in the time, but very much representing the United States here. Shantae Klingscale, 11.26. It went faster in the semi-final, and that's Takash from Hungary. National record of 11.06, and Jinkwe in lane 8. What a moment for her.
Massive moment for Jinkwe in lane 8. She wants to definitely set a good time here and get closer to that PB of 11.22, and no better platform than this.
5 athletes from the United States, 1 from Trinidad and Tobago, 1 from Hungary, and 1 from the Republic of South Africa, the host nation here in the final of the women's 100 meters. Killebrew, Bertrand, White, Sturgis, McCoy, Klingscale, Takash, and Jinkwe. 8 athletes, 1 winner. Perfect start by all, and it is the bright colours of Sturgis, who's away. She's being pressured on the outside by Klingscale, who's going well, but Sturgis is powering away here. She'll take the win, and she'll take it hugely impressively in 10.93.
Absolutely impressive win from Sturgis, 10.93, showing so much consistency. She got a 10.94 in the heat, and she comes through and absolutely obliterates the line up from the gun, and she motors down the 100-meter straight. 10.93 seconds. She is victorious. It is Cambria Sturgis. She's in phenomenal form, already running the world lead in the 200 meters, and she's absolutely killing it in the 100 meters as well. That's Cambria Sturgis. Absolutely perfection in execution, Gerald.
Well, she's come out here. She was the favorite, and there's always a bit of a weight on the shoulders, but she carries it very lightly, and she's done the job here. Won her semi well and went a little faster in the final, just enough, but well, a comfortable win in the end. She was never ever in doubt in that favored lane as she blasted away.
Definitely blasting away there is Cambria Sturgis. A beautiful start. Dry face so strong from Cambria, getting away from the rest of the field, absolutely motoring down the 100 meters. Look at that power, that grit, that strength. She's really pumping her arms very well there, staying relaxed though, not tensing up. She knows it's herself against the clock, and she stayed so calm in this 100-meter dash. Cambria Sturgis stops the clock at 10.93 seconds to win the women's 100 meters. Coming through as well is McCoy, as well as Shante Klingscale. That's our top 3 winners, and they'll walk away with the Supersport Akani Simbine Continental Classic Silver Tour 2026 medals.
Well, just an absolute thrill to see all these world-class athletes. Yes, they are here for a big appointment over the weekend, honing their relay skills, their sprinting skills ahead of what will probably be a week of intense preparation and training and teamwork to get those relay skills going.
Mr. McKenzie having fun. You mentioned he's dressed in the tracksuit, and he'll be counting on the South African contingent to raise the flag, but he will also consider himself lucky to place the medal around the neck of Cambria Sturgis. Oh, she has been good on her African Odyssey, hasn't she? Played second fiddle to Gabby Thomas before she left, but I think with that sub-11 second clocking that we've seen from her today, shows that she is capable of getting the better of Gabby Thomas, certainly over the 100 meters.
Well, the growth in the number of top-class events taking place in Africa has seen more and more of these world-class, particularly the Americans, coming out here, getting an early outdoor break, having had the indoor seasons. And of course, obviously, the relays taking place here adds to that. But over the last number of years, with the Kipkeno and with the Botswana, the Gaborone event last weekend, it's fantastic. And now this Akani Simbine's wonderful, wonderful event. And guess what? He's in focus now.
So you mentioned, hark back to the era when top sprinters from around the world came, and this man here is not to be underestimated. He ran well in Gaborone, and the question is, can he deliver another pretty good performance here?
Chesil Johnson, what a day he's had. 10:04 personal best in the afternoon in the pre-program, 10:07 to get to the final. And this is Paj Austin, who won his heat today, coming in from lane 2. Listen to this. Akani Simbine. 9.98 in the semi-final. So it's all going to happen here. What a race, what a field we've got here for you. Samuel Blasowski, Brown, Johnson, Paul, Austin, Simbine, Iseme, DeGrasse, and Moss.
All eyes on Akani Simbine, who went sub-10 just over an hour ago. It means for the 12th year running, Akani Simbine has been able to clock a 9-second 100-meter race. The SA record holder, 9.82. And remember that in Paris in 2024, he just missed out on an Olympic medal and ran that SA record in 2024. Fernando Manyala, the fastest man in Africa, ran in Gaborone. He's not here today. He finished just there and thereabout with Andre de Grasse. And lots of celebrities also out here today to catch the action. So there it is. Samuel Blasowski, Aaron Brown, a member of that very powerful Canadian 4x100 meter quartet. Chesil Johnson, will he have anything left in the tank? Pajai Austin ran well, almost there, 10-1 in Gaborone. Akani Simbine, certainly he must be the man to beat after going sub-10 just an hour ago. Manuel Iseme was close to the action in Gaborone. And of course, the mercurial Andre de Grasse must be difficult to beat on the big occasion.
Well, here in South Africa, there's a very, very popular rugby union competition early in the season, early in the year. Well, the Varsity Cup, a tertiary institution competition, all the big universities from around the country. And the local university, Pretoria University, Tuks, were the champions this year. They're here with their trophy. All here to watch Akani Simbine. Well, the evergreen Akani Simbine. Yeah, he ran faster today than he's ever run at this time of year, so it bodes really well for the season. He's got fellow South African Cheswell Johnson in lane 3, 2 away from him, and Vuyo Moss, what a run for him to get himself into this esteemed company. Out in lane 8, the UJ athlete.
Yeah, definitely impressive to see the man develop. He's from the former Hoërskool Vorentoe, and he suffered a little bit. Was a 200-meter man as a junior, bossing the 200 meters, and ran 2 and 4, and then dipped a little bit, and he certainly started coming back. Told me early on this year, Vuyo Moss, that he's back, and well, he's back with a bang as he lines up in this quality field, which starts with Samuel Blasowski out wide. 10:05 is his personal best back in 2025. He'll have to run all of that to finish in the top 3. Aaron Brown, more than just a relay man. When he feels like it, he can turn it on. Is today the day. A long jumper and a 100-meter athlete, Cheswell Johnson. 2 10-0s today. Will he still be tired is the question. Austin Pajai, 10:11 for 5th in Gaborone. He needs to run at least a 10-0 to get close to this man. Sub 10 for the 12th year running. Just over an hour ago, the name of the competition is his Supersport Simbine Classic. Can he win? Esme Emmanuel of Cameroon, he looked good and probably could have snuck a medal in that 100 at the Golden Grand Prix in Botswana. But here we go. Andre de Grasse, Olympic champion over 2, sub 20 and sub 10 in Gaborone on Sunday. He must be a favorite. Vuyo Moss will have to have the race of his life if he's to finish in the top 3. But today could be the day. This man is riding high on confidence. Men's 100 meters. The show is about to start.
On your marks.
Laskowski in 1, Brown in 2, Johnson in 3, Austin in 4, Simbine in 5. Fastest qualifier. Seme, Cameroon national champion in 6, Olympic champion de Grasse in 7, Moss in 8. Final of the 100 meters. And Cheswell Johnson has jumped.
Yep, it's Cheswell Johnson. You could hear a pin drop. You could feel the tension in this arena at the Pilgridge Athletic Stadium, and Cheswell Johnson could feel it too. Cheswell Johnson, what has he done? A couple of 10-0s today, and this was the chance to break 10 seconds for the first time in the rarefied air of the competition against Akani Simbine and Andre de Grasse. And the look on his face, I beg your pardon, says he knows it.
Yeah, he didn't even want to turn around. You felt that he was walking back. It's red behind, and I think he might see a red card in front of him as well. Ooh, just hearing through our headphones, there might be a green card, I heard, but he's going to survive.
Cheswell Johnson will have to thank the underground gang. He lives to run another race, but he'll have to compose himself because his heart will have been beating out of his chest after that moment.
Well, the adrenaline will be high now, that's for sure. To their blocks a second time. The 8 athletes in the final event of the Supersport Simbine Classic Continental Silver event. Blasowski in 1, Brown in 2, Johnson in 3, Austin in 4, Simbine in 5, Seme, de Grasse and Moss.
Set.
It's clean now, and away they go. Akani Simbine has to do some work here because outside him, Austin's going well, Simbine's going nowhere, and it's going to be a blanket finish. Seme is going to take it. It is Emmanuel Seme who just dipped, I think, and got the win there for Cameroon to take the victory.
Looks like a 9.94. No surprises there, because this man has been rounding out into some good form. He was close to the action in Gaborone and almost found himself breaking 10 seconds on that occasion. He couldn't, but he does this time. And he also pulls out the signal to say, those who didn't know me now. The man from Cameroon, Emmanuel Eseme, triumphs in this men's 100-meter final.
Well, if that time holds, he would have gone faster than he's ever run before. Really, really good run. Wasn't to be for Akani Simbine in the final here. He folded at halfway, but Emmanuel Eseme had to do a lot of work in a very, very close sprint with Jai Austin. And he did enough at the finish.
Well, this sort of loaded field early on in the season gives athletes jitters, and you saw it wasn't a good start from Andre de Grasse as well. He thought you might use his 200 speed. Akani Simbine realizing there that the race is over, but no one can catch Eseme. He just keeps going ahead. De Grasse working very, very hard. Good run from Austin Pajai as well, who I think might have got up there for second, but it's close. And de Grasse probably sneaking in ahead of Cheswell Johnson for that third place. A decent run from Mvuyo Moss, who might return with a personal best over 100 meters. No doubt about our winner. And he breaks 10 seconds, Emmanuel Eseme. Hopefully he'll be going to the African Championships in Ghana happening later on this year, and will be one that will be looking to win that title.
Well, you saw in that slow-mo Akani Simbine pull up and grimace as he did. It wasn't a dead stop. He ran on, but he's in pain, unfortunately, which is not a good sign for Akani. But he did provide us with wonderful entertainment early today with a sub 10-second finish. And he has produced and provided us with a wonderful platform today at this event. Greeting the Minister of Sport and Arts and Culture, Mr. Gaten McKenzie.
Well, this reminds me of a moment maybe 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, when Usain Bolt won in Rio, and immediately after winning, everyone comes to congratulate him, and he watched the 400 meters. Wade van Niekerk, of course, breaking the world record, but he stood next to Akani Simbine as they were getting ready to run the Olympic 100-meter final. And spare a thought for this man, who will have had to learn something from Usain Bolt about being a statesman, because he's just run. He might be in pain, but everybody wants to get a piece of him. And there was that young man as well, and he has time for the fans. And I think for many other athletes, after having a difficult race, the last thing you want to do is get out there and take photos and chat to people immediately after the race.
Unless you're Akani Simbine, he's limping here. You know, he's obviously in some difficulty and some pain. So, yeah, there'll be disappointment at the injury. He couldn't contest. He couldn't fight it out for a medal. And, well, he'll reflect on that. But I think the bigger picture is that he has put together a day that those who are here, and those who watched, I think will remember for a long time to come, because he's provided athletics fans, track and field fans in South Africa with something to savor. That is a quality podium. Eseme, Austin and de Grasse, the first, second and third in the men's 100 meters.
And that is a very dangerous performance from Andre de Grasse in particular. He's a man who usually gets cooking around about July, and for him to go sub 10 and sub 20 on Sunday and end up on this podium, I think he's probably run about a 10.0 today. It means that when we come to those world relays this weekend, he is going to be flying, and later on in the year he should win the Commonwealth Games, all things being equal, at an absolute canter.
Well, he might come up against the man who beat him today there as well. So, yeah, the relays, the Canadians take it very, very seriously. They've got, as you said earlier, powerhouse Canadian quartet, and de Grasse is clearly focused on that. 10.03 in the end as it rounds out. Austin 10.06, de Grasse 10.08.
And that must be some sort of record there for Cheswell Johnson. 3 10.0s in a day. A really good and consistent run. And Aaron Brown also there and thereabout. I think that 10.1 shows that Canada looked like they could end up on top at the World Relays this weekend in Gaborone. Well, earlier today we we're watching the Bidvest shot put for men. And this is a competition that brings together some of the big men. And Aiden Smith was expected to do well, as is Zane Weir and Nick Ponzio. Of course, Nick Ponzio, the Italian. And Zane Weir, former South African, now competing for Italy. And Ekwechi also there. And they would be looking to threaten that 21-meter mark.
Aiden Smith, the preeminent South African shot putter at the moment. And good rotation and good delivery, and a really good result as well for Smith. 25-0, first time out. Great start.
He's been throwing consistently around the 20.5. He had a 28 in Botswana. So he's been consistent now. A third throw from Zane Weir. Powerful, tall figure. Gets it up high. And now that's getting a little bit closer to 21 meters. 20.7 at the third attempt for Zane Weir.
Inechekwe, the Nigerian, 27.1 was his best prior to this. Off it goes, and that's even bigger than that. Very, very impressive. The Nigerian, 21.17, the only one to go over 21 meters. A smile for the victor in the men's shot put, and he's done the job well. But 21.7, Zane Weir in second place. Aiden Smith 25.0, that only 3 over 20 meters today.
Aiden Smith continues to hunt for that magical throw over 21 meters, while Kyle Blichnout continues his return from injury, just a shade inside 19 meters. Well, hasn't it been an amazing day?
Quite an extraordinary day of track and field here, the likes of which we haven't seen for a long, long time. If you think back to our pre-program this afternoon, we had 16 100-meter men events, we had a dozen women's races, we had countless 200s, just so much talent and so much energy around. And then, of course, into our main program here, the Super Sports Simbine Classic and the 800 meters won by Noah Kibet.
Ferguson Rotich was the early pacemaker, dropping out just after 500 meters. It left Noah Kibet to take up the race, and no one else really interested. So Noah Kibet flew home. A good fight in the end, for the minor positions, but Kibet good value for his sub 145 finish. There was also a few para-athletes, and in different classes, different categories. Good run from Ananias Shikongo, of course, who's fully blind and ran with his guide. Also the likes of Puseletso Mabote, one of the blade runners. But that 3,000 meters, what great entertainment from Luan Manik and Tepotsite.
Quality field there. Jerry Matsao taking a 4th place there in the Discam 100-meter hurdles for women. Rihanna Jones taking the win in 12.72. Kozak, the Hungarian, and Tumi Ramakopa will be well pleased with that. Some big names she accounted for there. The women's relay, South Africa were superb in putting aside Hungary. Never mind Menlo Park, who beat Chile. High school beating a whole country. South Africa B winning the men's relay ahead of Eswatini, and Namibia winning it at the canter. Emil Rasmus bringing it home. Prudence Sekhodiso, a personal best as she won the 1500 meters. For all but 300 meters, she was with Karabamura and then ran away from her.
Yeah, Karabamura getting a lesson in world-class racing there from Prudence Sekhodiso, but this has to be possibly the performance of the night. A world-class sprinter in her own right, went sub-11 in the heats and sub-11 again to win. Cambria Sturgis, how good was she? And this last race, Esme triumphed in the biggest race of the night, getting the better of De Grasse, Johnson and Austin, with Akani Simbine pulling up injured to finish in last.
But Akani Simbine was a winner today, because this has been a wonderful day of track and field here in Tshwane. It's alive and well in this country, track and field. You just needed to be here or watching where you were. Thanks for joining us at the Super Sports Simbine Classic Continental Tour Silver here at Pilditch Stadium. From an entire team, it's been a long but highly enjoyable day. Until next time at a track, cheers.